4 wins from its past 5 games has North Ballarat among the competition's in-form sides as the 2022 season turns into the final third of home and away games. Recent emphatic victories against Darley and Melton South by a combined 152 points no less flags the talent-laden Roosters among those sides likely to feature prominently come the post-season action. Today will unquestionably present a litmus test as the Mars Stadium tenants roll out the welcome mat to the all-conquering Melton Bloods. Undefeated through its opening 11 games, Melton's last loss came ironically at this venue in the corresponding clash in late June of the truncated 2021 season. Earlier this year, the Bloods flexed their imposing muscle, inflicting a significant 68-point defeat on the Roosters at McPherson Park, sending a resounding message not just to Brendan McCartney's men, but to the entire McDonald's Ballarat Football Netball League competition. Today will provide another chapter in a growing rivalry between two historic and proud clubs as the Roosters and the Bloods go head-to-head in the Ballarat Toyota Match of the Day. Hello, I'm Wes Cusworth and I'm joined in commentary by Brett Henderson with special comments for this significant Round 13 contest. Welcome, Brett.
Welcome, Wes, and looking forward to this one. It should be a cracker. Obviously, the conditions are going to play a part, but prior to thinking about the conditions, I think each side's attitude is going to be the thing that determines more so the outcome.
How would you describe the wind, the impact that it's likely to have here at Mars Stadium, and how best the sides approach this when they're kicking both with and against?
Well, it's a northerly and it's a really strong one, which is a little bit unusual for this time of the year. I think the side going against the wind is going to really have to rely upon, run and carry, because kicking the football, it's just going to keep falling short. The side going with it need to be really careful of not kicking it too deep into the goal square, allowing the opposition to kill the ball off easily. So there's a little bit of maths about that, so you probably want to be just placing the ball out in front of the goal square, and you just don't want to be blazing away either.
Now we're standing in the mezzanine part of the media centre here at Mars Stadium with this fantastic northern wing stand. What sort of role will this play, given the fact that obviously this is probably the avenue to attack when kicking to that western end?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's probably the side to attack more so for both sides, really. I think, Melton are going against a really strong breeze here. I think for them to defend, you're going over to that far side of the ground. We had a magnet here a few weeks ago around in the forward pocket down the northern end. This time I think it might be down the opposite forward pocket of the southern end. So it's going to be a really interesting first 5 or 10 minutes as the players get their heads around these conditions.
Well, Brendan McCartney pre-game promised a physical encounter. We know that Melton are always going to approach their footy like that. That's been one of the core components to their 11 wins in a row. Or to do the ruck work against McCallum as the umpire holds the ball aloft. A little bit of push and shove in the centre of Mars Stadium as the Ballarat Toyota Match of the Day for round 13 is underway. It's McCallum that wins it down to the advantage of Ned Nash, although he overruns the footy. In fact, that might have been Brock Leonard there on that occasion. The pack forms over the football and we'll have another ball up.
Interesting, Wes. I think this is what Melton will be after. Lots of stoppages going against that strong breeze.
Just soak up a bit of time. McCallum once again wins it down to the advantage of a teammate, and once again another pack forms in the middle of Mars Stadium and we'll have another ball up. We're going to see that plenty of times today, Brett.
Yeah, absolutely.
Palm down on this time by Orr. Taken by Leonard. Melton with a little kick that goes pretty much up the chimney. No great advantage there on this occasion. Taken by the Bloods. Handball out to the advantage of Kennedy. That's Brock Kennedy. Kicks towards half forward. Good mark taken there on that occasion by Tom Bromley-Lynch, who showed great courage. Clears the ball out to McCartan, who only needs one hand to haul that one in. He wheels around onto his right, kicks inside 50. Here's an opportunity emerging, although drifting back was Lachlan Phillips. He couldn't hold on to the mark. The ball goes to ground and the umpire says, we'll have a ball up. So certainly good distance covered with the kicks when they're going to that western end, Brett.
Absolutely. Getting value for your buck.
Opportunity for McCartan, spills the handball out, taken by Melton, taken to ground. Over the shoulder, it's going to go the way of the Bloods. Some 45 metres from defensive goal, and it's Riley Walker, who was awfully helpful to me prior to the game. We do really appreciate the players playing their part and helping facilitate what's a Great live stream coverage courtesy of Red Onion as part of the Ballarat Toyota match of the day. Had a bit of a chat to Riley and, yeah, really optimistic about the season, understandably optimistic about the way in which this game might go. Ball thrown in, palm to the back of the pack, taken away on this occasion by Blake Suter. Sky-high kick once again. That didn't travel the necessary distance. Umpire says it did, so that's okay. Maybe they're going to show a few concessions today. That's a good kick towards riding. In fact, it's an awkward sort of bounce for everybody. That's Mawson taken to ground in attack. Oh, he's been pinged. Prior opportunity deemed by the umpire. Tough one on the Bloods. And North Ballarat with an opportunity to kick for goal from just 30 metres out. And this is a pretty important kick for North Ballarat. Pretty uncompromising there by the umpire. Short approach. Kick on goal is to the right, missing. That was Isaac Lovison.
I didn't mind that chaos ball entry, Wes. I just think it stops the Melton defenders setting up. I don't know if it was deliberate or not, but no one really knew what was going on, and it really put the Melton defender under pressure. The shot on goal probably just needed to get back off the mark a little bit more.
Yeah, it was certainly a short approach. Melton clear to the outer side of the ground. We know the ball's going to spend a fair bit of time out there. McCallum went out at one-handed, palmed the ball to ground. Pack forms, and the umpire will intervene once again. Fisted away by McCallum. Taken by the Roosters. Free kick. O'Brien wants to play on. And no, North Ballarat compelled to come back. Short option on. Kick towards the advantage of Scott. He's worked off the football. Taken by Spears. Works it back inboard. Bit of volleyball by players on both sides. Here's Sam Arts. Swings onto the left. Dangerous sort of kick. Jamie Quick was the target. Snap around the body. Is this the first major of the game? Yes, it is. The Roosters have broken through, drawn first blood, and they've burst away to a 7-point advantage thanks to a snap-on goal by Jamie Quick to get the Roosters away.
It was a great kick by Arts, Wes, because he didn't kick the ball deep into the goal square, allowing the Melton defenders just to kill it off. You know, we spoke a moment ago about, you know, kicking that ball 5, 10, even 15 metres out in front of the goal square to keep the ball alive and keep it dangerous, and that was a great conversion.
That's probably one of the keys for North Ballarat too, given the fact that they're the ones with the blank canvas, so to speak, today. They've got to get away to a really bright beginning, don't they, in this contest?
Absolutely.
Back in the middle of Mars Stadium.
If I'm North Ballarat, I just want the ball alive. I don't want these stoppages. Let's just knock it on.
Just keep moving it forward.
Yep.
McCallum with a bit of a leap, but it was ultimately all that won the tap out. Overrunning it there on that occasion was Kite, taken by a teammate. Kick was smothered. Opportunity for Ryan Davis. Knocked off the footy. Here come the Roosters, using the commentary side of the ground. A little bit too much weight on it on that occasion. Bailey Mawson takes a good mark. He wants an option in board, and he finds Lachlan Walker. Walker with the sleeves. In fact, he's got a couple of jumpers on. He's looking for that little bit of added warmth as the temperature drops as he moved west to Ballarat today. Moves it forward to Liam Carter, who's a long way from the goal face where he likes to spend a fair bit of time. Up there with some goal-kicking teammates. Melton, well, that's a scrubbing sort of kick, but it's taken by Manito. So, Funky Cold Manito.
He's back.
He's become a bit of a cult figure. Gets reasonable distance with a low sort of kick. Taken by Jenkins. Back in board. Opportunity for Bromley Lynch. The Roosters with a quick kick. Now Melton in board. Kick towards half forward. Heaney was the target. Ball spills out to Melton's advantage. Looking for an option. The kick towards the goal square. That's not a bad kick because it's an awkward bouncing football for the defenders. Brock Leonard by hand. Hobbs. Gets onto it and kicks it only so far as... Oh, Mawson and his teammate in Hanley collided. Opens the door for the Roosters. And now they're away. Here's a one-on-one situation. Drifting back. Just reading a lot better on that occasion was Lachlan Phillips. Just
the last two entries, whereas Melton defenders have had back shoulder. Perfect positioning.
Reading the play really well there on that occasion. Here's Brock Kennedy. back in board. Waits his kick beautifully to Jordan Kite. Equally so, Kite chips it to Hanley. Hanley squares it. Oh, puts a teammate under a fair bit of pressure in Riley Walker, but he does well. Shows good composure. And then a really nice kick to Bailey Mawson, who marks it left half back. Up and under. Oh, spilt there on that occasion. Ball goes to ground. North Ballarat, can they expose some sort of weakness here? No, it's taken away by Melton, and a good kick is finding that player in Braden Kite. Kite moves it on very quickly to a one-on-one situation. Gee, the curl of the ball in the wind really did provide for Luke Heaney, but unfortunately for him, it was even just a little out of his reach. Opportunity now for Loader. Oh, Loader with a dangerous short kick in defence, but it's effective. Now to Riding. Riding's buried. Umpire calls play on. Well done, Melton. They win possession. Button retreats with a handball. Mawson, who's been prominent. Here's Watkins. Kick inside 50. McCallum sets himself. Big punch comes from behind. Good defensive work by the Roosters. Spilt out to Kite. Kite's looking for some space. He goes one way, then the other. Gets the handball out to the advantage of a teammate. Shot on goal from Lachlan Hickey, and Melton's got the answer. Well, the Bloods respond, and they kick a goal into the very strong wind here at Mars Stadium. And they draw within 1 point of North Ballarat in a really effective, albeit scrambled passage of play.
Bailey Mawson really holding up for Melton defensively, and once again had an impact on that ball going into the forward half for North Ballarat. So, really good play there. Kite being a little bit instrumental down forward as well. So, it's a big blow to North Ballarat because we've played almost 9 minutes and the scoreboard's almost even.
And I think the thing about Braden Kite is that he's such a strong player, and you could see through the hips there he was going to be a really difficult player to take down.
Absolutely. He just kept moving. He didn't sort of stand still and accept the tackle. He fought through the tackle, and great result.
Palm down by McCallum. Good work by Hanley, albeit that held up, and then the pack forms and we'll have another ball up. 1-1-7 plays one straight 6 in the Ballarat Toyota match of the day between North Ballarat and the Melton Bloods. Hope you're enjoying the coverage wherever you may be watching. I dare say we may have a few viewers from Melton that maybe didn't make the trek over. Here's a dangerous bouncing footy for North Ballarat as they go into attack. Ryan Luke. The Roosters, a snap-on goal is an amazing kick on goal by North Ballarat, and they've pulled one back. Jack Riding, what a sensational kick on goal. We know that he's such a creative forward. He really knew what he was doing there on that occasion, Brett Henderson, and he restores the margin back out to 7 points for Brendan McCartney's men. That's
one of the better goals you'll see in country footy, Wes, but once again it was a chaos ball. It sort of unsettled the Melton defenders. North Ballarat forwards were the first one to swoop on it, and they've hit the scoreboard again. So both entries sort of been chaos balls, and they've been North Ballarat goals.
Probably going to be the theme of the day, isn't it, really? Just move it forward whichever way you can.
Absolutely.
7 points the advantage to North Ballarat in the Ballarat Toyota match of the day. Back in the middle here of Mars Stadium, Jenkins fighting hard for it. Kick out of the pack comes from Braden Kite. Bounces towards the boundary. Carter. Well, he's outpaced there on that occasion. North Ballarat do well. The kick towards the advantage of Simon McCartan. Can he gather? He does. He goes by hand. He's going to get it back, McCartan, and he's going to have it deep on the half-forward flank. He wants to work his way back into the corridor. He spots up a target. It's a real floater of a footy, but a good mark taken on that occasion. And just the late contact has drawn the attention of the North Ballarat teammates, who say that was unnecessary. And now they want to go on with it. There's no doubting that there's not going to be a player on either side that's going to take a backward step today.
Well, the clock's ticking. North Ballarat don't want to be wasting time in this sort of stuff. And guess what, Wes? It was another sort of chaotic ball entry, and they've got another shot on goal.
Fletcher Loader, the man in question, he won't have any angle to speak of. He will be kicking from 45 metres out. He comes in now. Needs to start it out to the right. It's a bit of a floater of a kick, and he misses pretty badly through for just the one behind. The lead 8 points as North Ballarat move along to 2-2-14, leading Melton one straight kick.
I think North Ballarat would love to go in at quarter time 3-4 goals up at least with this breeze. You know, Melton are responding pretty well at the moment, but those chaotic balls once again causing them some issues.
So the Bloods, they'll use that outer side of the ground, which obviously is going to be very, very difficult to score from, just in case it comes bounding straight back in. And it looks like it may as the Roosters take possession, although the handball is misguided. That was O'Leary, missed kicking there on that occasion, almost a fresh air shot. Free kick paid. It's going to go the way of the Bloods at right half back. The recipient is Ryan Davis. Davis, little up and under, or over the head of the target there on that occasion, taken by Carter, whose kick is just slews off the side of the right boot and over the boundary on the full. And we're certainly going to have a stoppage here, as one of the Water boys is going to have to go and do some running. 2-2-14 plays one straight 6. John O'Brien with the footy on centre wing, outer side of the ground. Has some leads coming from the corridor. Wheels onto his right, ordinary sort of kick. Cut off by Melton. Can they take clean possession? That was Jordan Kite. He was dispossessed of the football. Pack forms. And deemed to have not disposed adequately, Melton. That's going to be a free kick going the way of North Ballarat.
I just think the defenders have been used to being able to set up and read the ball in the air pretty easily like over the last few weeks. Not so much today.
Absolutely. Up and under, top of the square stuff, ball to the back. And it's going to be Melton happy to do the Hawthorn of 2008 and concede a behind. And now it's out to a 9-point margin. So the Bloods have it. Mawson will mark 45 from defensive goal, central corridor. Switches it wide. And Melton now with the footy at right half back. Front of the scoreboard that says 15 plays 6. Now the kick along the line. Pack forms. McCallum was there. He's fighting hard at ground level. The ball over the boundary line. Oh, it's deemed to have come off a boot. It's going to be a free kick, and it's going to go the way of the big fella, McCallum. What can he do? He runs around onto his right, and it's a pretty scrubbing sort of kick forward. Opportunity for Melton. Succession of handballs. Good work by the Bloods moving the footy forward. And there's that sort of running with the football approach that you were talking about earlier, Brett. That handball misses its target, and now an opportunity emerges. There's Button fighting hard.
Yeah, I think you're right, Wes. You know, that chain of handballs, if you're prepared to run hard into this wind, carry the ball, and hopefully then get it over into some space deeper and forward, going to give you some scoring opportunities. It's not impossible to score.
Indeed, as they've shown. Button, slung as he kicks. Deemed to be in the back. Free kick. It's going to go the way of Bromley Lynch. Switches play. That's Charlie Perks emerges as an option in the corridor. Offloads by hand. Here come the Roosters. Kick towards half forward. One-on-one situation. It's Jamie Quick. Takes possession. Gets the handball away. Only so far as Lachlan Phillips. That's Kite taken to ground. Pack forms. Umpire says we'll have a ball up. 48 metres out from the North Ballarat goal. And if they got a shot here, you'd reckon they'd be a fair chance because they'd have the wind directly to their back, Brett.
Absolutely. And just transition-wise, you know, they ran into the wedge of the ground. You know, they need to keep central.
Hanley, back inboard. Quick kick by Melton. Beautifully along the line. Bit of a fumble by North Ballarat, and that is Carter of the Ryan variety taking his rival there in Ned Nash over the boundary.
And as a result of that, Wes, they transitioned, they should have kept central, they came right out wide to the boundary, and now Melton for the last 30 seconds, 40 seconds have got the ball exactly where they want it. Play corridor.
Nice long deep throw in by the boundary umpire. Here's Kite, swings onto his left. Bit of an up and under, the ball holds up in the breeze. Now to ground. Watkins. Carter. Sweeping handball out to the advantage of Borg. Borg back in board. Good work by him. Missed the target, however. Suter spills the mark. Taken to ground, umpire says it was a push in the back. It's going to be Melton's kick, just the offensive side of centre wing, commentary side of the ground. 15 plays 6 in our Ballarat 2-outer match of the day.
I think it's a 5-goal breeze down that end, Wes.
Suda, up and under. Pack forms over the footy, hotly contested. Comes out, but the player in question is immediately wrapped up. That is Armstrong. And he'll hand it back to the umpire for the ball to be thrown up 45 metres out from Melton's goal. They're kicking to the left of screen. Well, trying to beat the pack there on that occasion, North Ballarat, and they've been pinned. So it's going to be a Melton free kick. Right on the arc. And you can see the goalpost swaying in the background, Brett.
Well, the ball might actually almost get wedged between them, Wes. They're almost touching each other.
Short options on. Carter with the lead. It was always an option, wasn't it, really? And it was always a real concern for the North Ballarat defenders. Now Carter with a fairly tight angle to contend with, but we're right behind it, so we're going to certainly get a great view. Yeah,
he probably really needs to start it out almost left behind post, you know. So let's see how this goes.
Ryan Carter for his first of the day. Hits the 40-metre mark. Sets it out right, and it just swings further away, and it was a pass, clearly, as it's taken in the pocket. Wow, the way the wind took that footy there on that occasion. He would have had to have started it out wide of the left behind post, I suspect.
Well, let's hope they've learned from that last kick. And, you know, once again, they probably really need to go wide left with this for it to have any chance of going through.
Well, Brett Henderson says it might be a 5-goal breeze to the right of screen. And now Melton with an opportunity to bring it back within 3 points. And it is slewing off the side of the boot once again and not making any impression on the scoreboard at all. Just showing the difficulty of scoring to that left of screen. North Ballarat, short option, Spears. Marks 20 metres from defensive goal, goes out wide. Nice kick, precision. Hits Ned Nash.
Like North Ballarat have lost a bit of structure in their forward half here, and Mawson is able to guard the corridor because he's got no man, he's got no opponent.
Cut off by Carter. Wow, that was actually pretty clever. I wasn't sure where he was going on that occasion, but he found Braden Kite, who marks some 35 metres out from goal. And once again, a reasonably tight angle, but what will he learn from Ryan Carter's experience of a few minutes ago?
Well, he probably almost needs to aim this one at the canteen, Wes, even out wider. But he's going to actually have to go for that very left point post.
Braden Kite, an experienced, talented footballer, and he sets it out wide, and it just catches, well, it's caught by the wind, and another mark.
Well, that's a replica because it's the same guy going to have a shot at goal, Wes.
He is. It was another pass. He's obviously the target up forward.
So what's he learnt? That's a question now. What has he learnt from his last kick?
I think his last kick actually drifted from hand to foot. The wind caught it, and that's why it just slewed off the side. But he's got a really tight angle to contend with. So Melton with an opportunity to bring it back to 3 points. Sets it up. Oh, that was actually a really good shot on goal. McCallum was wise to the occasion and fisted it over the line. It almost got there.
Fantastic attempt.
So 2-3-15 plays 1-1-7. Carter, can he keep it in? No, he can't. Did his best. A little bit of push and shove. Braden Kite and Ned Nash.
I just think North Ballarat got the ball to kick in with a 5-goal breeze. Let's get some yardage. Let's take some territory.
Just move it forward quickly. Ball thrown in. Carter edges McCallum forward. Kick towards goal. Kite travelled the necessary distance, and Braden Kite will have another shot on goal. This time a lot closer to the corridor and also a lot closer to goal.
Well, if the long kick in had gone to the middle of the ground, Wes, it would have taken Melton. They'd still be trying to work the ball back now. They probably would have taken 10 possessions. Going short now, they've got a shot on goal.
So Braden Kite will need certainly to aim for that left goal post. He comes in, and once again it flies off the side. And no real discredit to the player. It was just the winds just having an unbelievable bearing on the flight of the football. No score to Melton. This is Jamie Quick. He's got an option out wide and he uses him by hand. That's Nelson Troon. He wants to go back in board and he does so with a good penetrative kick, albeit that there's no one there.
No, North Ballarat forwards getting too far up the ground, Wes, and just allowing two Melton defenders to drop back, pick things off.
Riley Walker surveys the landscape in front of him and comes to the commentary side of the ground. Bailey Mawson, had a couple of grabs. Umpire said that wasn't enough. I thought it may have been. Here's an opportunity for Harry Loader. McCallum, and the ball over the line off hands. That was a good penetrative kick, and once again the protection of the stand playing a part.
Yeah, and the boundary throw in North Ballarat forward pocket. You'd want the North Ballarat forwards to really pull out here. Really pull out, create some space to do their work in.
Well, McIntyre's going to do the ruck work in defensive 50. He's up against McCallum. There is a lot of players around the football right at the moment. Lots of congestion. It's going to be really hard for a clear kick to come, and the umpire will intervene. Some 15 metres out from the Roosters' goal. We'll have a ball up.
Probably plays into Melton's hands there a little bit. You know, that really tight stoppage.
McCallum palms it down. Just nowhere to go for North Ballarat. Little scrubbing kick off the ground. Overrunning it was Ryan Davis. Taken by O'Brien. Loader. Chip kick. McCallum sets himself. McIntyre edges him forward. Good defensive work by Melton. How does the umpire interpret it? It's going to be a throw in.
I think he had to think about that, the umpire. He had to look at his colleague, and they both shook their heads, I think. So in these conditions, probably a good decision.
Yeah, I think that was a bit of common sense, wasn't it? That was a feel for the game that I think sometimes is lacking at AFL level. So commendable by our umpires here at Mars Stadium today. Kick forward by Loader. Awkward bouncing football, but it's going to be quick running out of territory. And the ball to be thrown in some 20 metres around from the North Ballarat scoring zone. The Roosters lead 2-3 to 1-1 in our Ballarat Toyota match of the day. I hope you're enjoying it with Wes Cusworth and Brett Henderson. As another Brett goes at it with McCallum. That's Brett McIntyre. Now the ball at ground level. Trying to escape was the Bloods.
And it's hard for the players, but it's also hard for the umpires. And week in, week out, the Ballarat League umpires have been terrific. So it's not an easy gig out there.
No, they're doing a good job. Fisted forward. Opportunity for Scott. No, taken by Suter. Suter's kick towards the commentary side of the ground. Captured by Luke. Sends it straight back in. Top of the square. Staff drifting back with the flight of the football. Just reading it really well there on that occasion, the Bloods. The kick out wide. Really testing Ryan Davis, but on full stretch he was able to haul it in front of the scoreboard. Davis, left footer, ran back in board, that then once again the wind took his kick and it off hands and bounces over the boundary line, just forward of centre wing for North Ballarat, and the ball will be thrown in. We've gone almost 25 minutes, just 3 goals scored in this game. So you'd say at this particular point in time, albeit that North Ballarat's winning, Melton's probably won the quarter.
Yeah, I think so, Wes. And I was just thinking then, I'm sure Brendan McCartney's knowledge of football is outstanding, but he'd be looking at the way that Melton have gone about this and hoping his side can replicate it in the second quarter.
Well, that'll be the test. I mean, Melton obviously is going for game 12 in a row for this season as winners. Their last loss was here at Mars Stadium against North Ballarat in June last year. Suter, and no, in fact, that was O'Leary. Bursting through. Good work by the Roosters, although the kick was partially smothered. Taken to ground. Held without the footy. And it's going to be a Melton free kick. The recipient's Lachlan Walker. Retreats with the footy. Goes out wide. They do have some players out there. So it means they might be able to progress and perhaps just as interested in soaking up time as they are of scoring at the moment. Kick forward.
Absolutely, Wes. They're playing the clock as well as North Ballarat.
Phillips finds Davis. Just forward of centre wing. Out wide. And the Bloods continue to watch the clock tick beyond the 26-minute mark of our first term. Now the kick forward. Manito's up there. He was second in line and it was deemed that he was doing the holding. And so that means a North Ballarat free kick. They want to switch play. Loader. Will he continue to come? No, he holds up. Now his short option on is Ned Nash. Nash takes it on the bounce. Works it forward. He's got McCartan. Only needed one hand last time. Doesn't quite get to it on this occasion. Taken by Quick. Pretty effective sort of kick forward because it really does put the defender there, Lachlan Phillips, under a bit of pressure. But guess what? Lachlan Phillips is absolutely equal to the occasion. He does really well. Works it out to Liam Carter, who in turn pushes it out to Lachlan Watkins, and the ball ultimately bounces beyond the reach of that player, Watkins.
I think North Ballarat are playing too narrow, Wes, and I think Melton want to play narrow. So you're sort of giving Melton what they want.
Mawson doing the ruck work for Melton on this occasion. Wins it down to the advantage of Suter. In fact, once again, it was O'Leary. Suter and O'Leary look quite alike, actually, and from a distance. So apologies to their families who no doubt are tuning into this game today. We wish you well. Hope you're enjoying the coverage. Kick forward by Watkins. And over the boundary line to be thrown in once again, just forward of centre wing, with North Ballarat just marginally in attack, leading 15-7 in our Ballarat-Toyota match of the day. So this is Mawson up against Luke. One down to Loader. Siren sounds to end our first quarter here at Mars Stadium in the Ballarat-Toyota match of the day between North Ballarat and the undefeated Melton Bloods. And at quarter time, kicking with a significant breeze here at Mars Stadium, it's North Ballarat 2-3-15, leading Melton 1-1-7. The goal kickers for the Roosters, Quick and Riding. The goals coming at the 4 and 11 minute marks. And the goal kicker for Melton, the solitary goal kicker, is Hickey. The margin is 8 points. Brett Henderson, just a quick summation of what you think about the way in which the first quarter was played.
I think you hit the nail on the head. You know, North Ballarat are in front on the scoreboard, but I think as far as the game goes, Melton's in front. They've defended really well that first quarter. Just felt North Ballarat played a bit narrow. I'm sure Melton will really try and take the ball on through the corridor. So, you know, hopefully, North Ballarat Brains Trust have had a look at what Melton did, and I'm sure, as I said before, they'll be looking to repeat that.
Any players stand out to you in particular? There's some that are obviously working pretty hard, and I think the Melton defence has actually been really effective because in the main they've been able to negate any sort of forward forays by North Ballarat.
I thought Barley Mawson was really good, and even when he didn't have the football, he was just prepared to sort of block off that corridor for North Ballarat, and that may be one of the reasons why they played narrow. I really liked Brock Kennedy's intensity early. I thought he was really good, and he was really trying to provide some run. I think Arts for North Ballarat's been lively. I thought Jamie Quick was really good with his hands. So they're probably the 3 or 4 players that are really standing out at the moment. Good
work, Brett Henderson, providing special comments in our Ballarat-Toyota match of the day. Well, I'm Wes Cusworth, and we're going to take a short break here at Mars Stadium. 2-3-15 North Ballarat, leading Melton, the undefeated Bloods, sitting atop the table in the McDonald's Ballarat Football Netball League 1-1-7. We'll be back in just a few minutes.
As proud sponsors of the Ballarat Football Netball League, we love supporting local.
And love community sport, and we encourage everyone to get out there, support your local football and netball league, and of course, support local business.
Second quarter action here at Mars Stadium. 8 points separate the two sides. McIntyre moved into the ruck up against McCallum. Palmed down beautifully by McCallum, taken by Spears. Kicks his side inside 50. Just held up there on that occasion for Isaac Loverson. I think he thought it was going to carry, and unfortunately it didn't. 49 metres out from the Roosters' goal. We're going to have a ball up. 2-3 plays 1-1. Brett Henderson's going to give us a little report on what he was able to capture at quarter time. There's Spears taken to ground. And the pack forms and the umpire's going to be forced to intervene once again. What did you come up with, Brett?
Well, I came up as a hard run up the stairs, Wes, I could tell you that. But Brendan McCartney, very keen for these boys to run and carry and play the quarter of their lives. Most important quarter for the season.
Well, they need to keep themselves in this contest by defending really well. And obviously, as you've just indicated, run the ball hard.
Melton were more about repeat entries, separation with their forwards, and even chaos balls.
Just get it in there.
Get it in there.
There's plenty of players around the football at the moment. McIntyre went early. There's Suter. Bouncing footy. Bromley Lynch. Can he gather possession? Overran the footy, went between his legs there on that occasion. Once again, players converge on the scene and we'll have another ball up.
Yeah, Brendan McCartney was really emotive at quarter time, Wes. Really keen for the boys to really take this game on.
Big leap by McCallum. Palmed it only so far as McIntyre, who's immediately wrapped up by Jack Riding. And another ball up, almost right in the middle of Mars Stadium. McCallum dominating. Spears does well. Taken at half forward by Ryan Luke. He's taken to ground. And that gives ample time for players from both sides to converge on the scene. That's good endeavour by Ryan Luke, but just unfortunately didn't have any room to move there, despite taking possession and doing his very best to extract himself from the contest. That's Jenkins, and he's wrapped up. The umpires are going to work. Well, they're going to be worked fairly heavily today, one would imagine. Plenty of stoppages. Spears throws it on the boot. This is a tricky football for Melton to contend with. There's a hold, and it's actually going to go the way of the Bloods. They'll have it in defence, some 30 metres from defensive goal. Sweeping handball from Walker. Manito, front and square. Manito's going to get a free kick, I suspect. Oh, called the play on advantage. No, they're going to take it back.
North Ballarat are certainly holding up okay in these first 3-4 minutes, Wes. You know, they've had a couple of looks at, perhaps scoring. So no doubt they're starting to get the idea of what Brendan wanted at quarter time.
So Adrian Manito has it at left half back for the Bloods. They're in deficit by 8 points. Short option. Finds Suter. Suter marks. Oh, it's an awkward sort of kick. Once again, flew off the side of the boot. Best position was Sam Arts. He's taken to ground.
I just think it's a day where you don't want to be going that lateral, particularly with the breeze. Okay, let's get it in. Let's put the opposition defenders under some pressure.
Well, you know full well that when it rebounds out, it's not going to rebound out smoothly, is it?
No.
That's O'Leary. Manito, dispossessed of the football. Umpire said he had prior opportunity and pays the free kick the Roosters' way. Although a little bit proppy there on that occasion is Clay Jenkins. So taking the kick is Tate. Pushes it out wide. His intended target was Tom Bromley Lynch, but he runs out of tarmac and the ball to be thrown in with Melton just marginally into attack. The ball to be thrown in with the Selkirk brick chimney in the background here at Mars Stadium. McIntyre, McCallum, neither player won it. Now Melton to go forward, inside 50. Carter, out to Kite. Umpire says he threw the footy. So it's going to go the way of the Roosters, who in turn will try to come out towards the commentary side of the ground, but it's caught in the breeze and it travels only so far as Brock Kennedy, who pumps it long. That's precisely what the Bloods will want. They've got it down there at least, and the ball bounces over the boundary line to the toilet block at Mars Stadium, just to the right of the scoreboard that says 2-3-15 to 1-1-7. And there is no change to the scoreboard from quarter time, and we've gone 5 minutes in the second quarter of our Ballarat to Outer match of the day.
That last entry was, Brock Kennedy perhaps should have tried to shift Carter with his kick back towards front of goal. I just think it just went a little bit wide, and once again they've sort of got in a really difficult position to score from with this breeze.
So Liam Carter doing the retrieving of the Sharon. Hopefully the boundary umpire will wait and give him the opportunity to get back into position, which he does. Good common sense. Don't want to bite the hand that feeds you. Umpire throws it in now. It's Ryan Carter doing the ruck work there. Here's Benito. Can't gather possession. And the ball will be thrown up some 35 metres out from the Melton goal. Without a shadow of a doubt, it's going to be a low-scoring contest here at Mars Stadium, so goals will be premium. Benito spun around, had prior opportunity on that occasion, and the umpire says it's going to go the way of the Roosters, who have it 40 metres from defensive goal. Offloads by hand. Now the Roosters come to the commentary side of the centre square. Juggling attempt, mark not taken. Working his way back there was Charlie Perks. Then taken to ground is Bromley Lynch. And we'll have a ball up.
I love that, Wes. The handball run received from behind, for North Ballarat. It's the way they're going to get towards goal and give themselves a chance to score.
McCallum palms it down. McIntyre does the roving, tries to burst through the pack. He's held up in the tackle. Might get the stats on contested footy, but obviously stoppages today would be pretty interesting. There's Spears. Ripped off the football even prior to taking it, I would have thought, there on that occasion. The pack forms. Manito's at the bottom of the pack. And he's helped to his feet as the umpire throws it up between McIntyre and McCallum once again. O'Leary, Manito. Opportunity for Funky Cole to send his team forward. He does so. Good fist away there on that occasion by Harry Loader. Very cleverly done. Now the ball goes forward once again. It's a bouncing football. Bounces through for a behind. Just to the right of the goals. It's a 7-point game. There's our first score of the second quarter. 2-3-15 plays 1-2-8.
It's just a great kick from Manito. It was central. Gave Melton a chance to hit the goals.
Just rapidly moving the ball forward with good distance with the kick. It's actually good distance with the kick into the breeze there on that occasion by North Ballarat. They do very well. Here's Mawson. It's a bit of a 1-2. And ultimately, Blake Suter was the intended target, but the ball misses that target, and it's over the boundary line once again, directly opposite us on the outer side of the ground here at Mars Stadium. 2-3-15 plays 1-2-8.
Just the frontal pressure from North Ballarat there, just driving the Melton defenders back, was a really good sign for North Ballarat.
McIntyre palms it down, then does his roving. And another ball up. And the interesting thing is that, as we've spoken before, both these sides, one would expect, are going to be around come finals time. And just whether or not they're going to be able to take much from today's game, given the conditions, when it comes to finals and maybe even potentially playing a grand final here. I know I'm getting ahead of myself there a little bit. But you think they're a real chance. Here's Spears, cut off by Kite.
Yeah, certainly in the conversation, Wes.
Long penetrative kick towards half forward. Manito the target. Good work, Bromley Lynch. Did well. Then taking the footy was Fletcher Loader. The Bloods dispossessed. Hanley was in the mix. Real congestion out there on the outer side of the ground. And once again, running out of tarmac and the ball to be thrown in between centre wing and half forward in our Ballarat to Outer match of the day. Some 9.5 minutes travelled in this second term, just one behind scored. McCallum. Clever work by Spears. Although cut off on this occasion by Lachlan Hickey. He throws it on the left and he kicks long, but he kicks wide. The wind captures it once again and sends it over the boundary line in front of the scoreboard.
Yeah, I think Brendan McCartney would be sitting in the coach's box saying, well, do I send one back all right, and you know, shore up my defence, or do I keep that extra around the stoppage and contest scene? It's such a stoppage game. At the moment, it seems to be working okay for North Ballarat, having that extra around the stoppage.
Well, at this particular point in time, North Ballarat had 2 goals in the first term, so I think they'd be pretty happy with the way in which they're defending at this particular point in time.
Yeah, I think they're doing a great job.
Scrubby old kick off the boot, once again caught by the breeze, taken by the Bloods. Suter sends it sky high, 1-on-1, drifting back. Oh, the ball falls to the back. Carter, can he get there? No, he can't. It's through for a rush behind. Once again, the margin's 1 straight kick. 2-3-15 plays 1-3-9.
And this is a play for them, Wes, and there's a big dust up on the wing between a couple of players from North Ballarat and Melton.
Yeah, fairly willing there between Ryan Carter and also Ryan Luke. The battle of the Ryans, but it's going to be North Ballarat with a free kick. Defensive side of centre wing in the ascendancy by 6 points. Defending quite well in this second term. Up and under sort of kick taken by Riding on centre wing. Oh, the umpire's blown his whistle and he says it's a free kick. It's actually gone the other way. There must have been a bit of an indiscretion in the contest.
Yeah, I think he used both his hands just marginally there, Wes, in the marking contest, and Mawson's got the ball again. He's been a good defender for Melton.
Yeah, he's been one of the better players today, Bailey Mawson. Shortish sort of kick, spotted his target beautifully, and Harrison Hanley marks. Has his kick partially smothered from the man coming from behind. Perks. Sweeping handball. Oh, bang, crash. I reckon there might have been Jamie Quick that took a fairly heavy blow there on that occasion. It didn't look terribly untoward. And, yes, it was indeed Jamie Quick. Met heavily and in fact, no infringement at all because there was nothing wrong with it apart from good, solid football, which is precisely what the coaches of these two sides will be asking for. He's a bit hurt, Jamie Quick, and it's nice to see Blake Suter out there just checking in on him. Good sportsmanship there on that occasion by Suter. And we saw something similar when, as a party, Fadali went down with that broken leg and his North Ballarat rival just caring for him for a couple of moments, which was just a fantastic show of sportsmanship a couple of weeks ago here at Mars Stadium.
I think it's something that's probably got a bit better in football, Wes. A bit more care for your opposition player, which is great to see.
I think there's just a lot of respect, isn't there?
Yep.
You can go hard, but at the same time you go fairly. And
yep.
That was Fletcher Loader in the mix, and unfortunately the ball's over the line. Unfortunate for North Ballarat. So Melton has it on centre wing, in deficit by 6 points. And great carry with a footy on this occasion. Goes a great distance, good 50 metres at least. The ball spilt, now taken by Melton, dispossessed. Umpire says you had prior opportunity, it's going to be a free kick.
Well, the advantage for the defenders are that when that ball's coming in high, so high and long, it's hard for the forwards to mark it. So it certainly helps the defenders.
Short option, that's Riding. Spears coming off the ground, looks a little bit proppy, which could be a problem for North Ballarat. He's been one of their better players today.
Yeah, he certainly has been, so hopefully he's okay.
Replaced by a similarly hard-at-it footballer in John O'Brien, sporting the number 7. 15 plays 9 in our Ballarat Toyota match of the day. We tick towards the 14-minute mark of our second term. McIntyre, buried by McCallum. And we'll have another ball up. Probably feel like we're a broken record today with the number of ball ups that we've had, but it's just the way in which the game is being played out. Watkins extracting himself there on that occasion was O'Brien. That was good work. And it's like a bit of a rugby scrum right at the moment. But bursting away with a real turn of speed is Tom Button. Then he stops and props and sends it forward. Drifting back with the fly to the football was Luke Heaney, and the ball over the boundary line just to the left of the scoreboard. It says 2-3-15 plays, 1-3-9, and 15 minutes gone in this second term. And I tell you what, if North Ballarat can hold on and maybe even go into the main break with this advantage, they'd be pretty chipper, wouldn't they?
Well, this advantage or even on the scoreboard, Wes, they're doing a great job.
think players on both sides lost sight of that one, and the umpire says the boundary umpire can take a few steps in and throw that one in again. A little bit harsh on the boundary umpire there. I think they're throwing into an absolute gale right at the moment. This one is thrown in. Throwing the footy on the boot is Carter, but it's sending it wide. That was Carter of the Ryan variety. And so the Roosters will have it in the right back pocket. They want to switch play. Now, this is a bit of a different approach. Almost kicks are behind. The mark's taken by Harry Loader, sends it forward. On full stretch is Charlie Perks. So now they're using the commentary side of the ground, which has been uncharacteristic of North Ballarat's approach to this point in time. That's a really nice, precise kick, and the mark's taken by Ryan Hobbs. Now off to Riding. Good penetration, using the stand effectively. The mark's taken by Jamie Quick. What can they conjure up now? That's not a bad kick by Quick. Does the umpire say it's okay? Yeah. No, he doesn't.
Yeah, I think that was pretty much on purpose, that one, Wes. He probably just needed to centre it a little bit more. But I loved the intent of North Ballarat then with the hands.
That was good, wasn't it? Quick was picked off there on that occasion by the umpire. Oh, mark spilt by Ned Nash. Now the ball at ground level. Carter knocked off the footy. And eventually we'll have another ball up.
The interesting one there, Nash had the ball on ground underneath his knees, obviously, but he started paddling the ball back towards the corridor. I don't reckon you'd want to do that against this breeze. You'd want to be coming the other way.
Yeah. Ball palmed down by Luke. Swinging it out wide with the handball. Oh, got an awful bounce there on that occasion, the Roosters. Doubling back was Nelson Troon. Sends it sky high. Here's an opportunity for Quick. In fact, cleverly done by Max Scott. Tries to knock it to his own advantage. He gets some support from Quick now. Here's an opportunity emerging. Riding. Uses the hands. Now off to McCartan. Goes one way, then the other. Has a shot on goal. Kicks, and the wind captures it once again. Oh, the mark's built by the Roosters, with the wind holding the ball and really just almost bringing it back over the kicker's head there on that occasion. Now the ball comes out wide. Ned Nash. Handball back inboard, load up, and eventually over the boundary line. And boy, once they get into that wind tunnel over there, Hendo.
Oh, that's crazy stuff. And it looks like Quick may have hurt himself again in that marking contest. He's been really important for North Ballarat. For them, their game plan and style at the moment is working. They're getting looks at goal, but it's almost impossible to convert.
Well, this doesn't look too good for Jamie Quick. He's been one of the more exciting forwards for North Ballarat. Kicked the first goal of the game.
Yeah, and look, Wes, he's sort of got up the ground. He's used his hands really well. I think we spoke about that at quarter time, so they don't want to lose him.
Hopefully he's just winded. Which can often be the way if you cop a heavy knock, and he is actually going to come off the ground. And I think we'll see the return of Charlie Perks to the action. He looks like he's in the frame for coming on. I see Adrian Benito's just made his way back into the contest for Melton. So 18 minutes have gone, but we've had a stoppage for a couple of minutes right now as we just see the trainers escort Jamie Quick from the ground. And he's just starting to jog now, so hopefully the young fella's all right. And in fact, it looks like Isaac Lovison might be making his way back onto the arena.
Well, actually, it's not even Quick, I don't think.
Oh, it's Simon McCartan.
Yeah, so it's probably my bad.
We both saw the 4.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a real shame. So it would be a great source of frustration losing either Quick or Simon McCartan, and in this event, it's actually Simon McCartan, so apologies for that misrepresentation. And in fact, we've got a free kick some 35 metres out from goal. It's going to go the way of Big McCallum. I think McIntyre may have been the offender there on that occasion. And
well, he's going to have to do the maths with this kick too, Wes. And unfortunately, I haven't met too many super intelligent ruckmen over my journey, but
hopefully Dr. McCallum proves you wrong.
Dr. McCallum might prove me wrong.
Here he comes, the big fella. Former basketballer with the Ballarat Miners. It's not a great kick off the boot, and it gives Melton an opportunity to repel. The mark is travelling Well, the kick's only travelling so far as Nelson True and the mark's taken. There's Quick, the man that we thought had actually copped the knock when it was Simon McCartan. Well, he thought he had a mark there. The umpire says, no, it was touched. I reckon Jamie Quick might be saying, well, why not? But the umpire deemed that there was a hand in.
Yeah. And interesting now that North Ballarat they had dropped one extra back, but now they're re-engaging the Melton South forwards.
Spears back in the action, so he's okay. Looked a little bit proppy. Handball spills out to the advantage of Clay Jenkins. Trying to go back now. Trying to burst his way through was Suda. Oh, Riding and Suda. Riding was probably fortunate not to give a 50-metre penalty away there on that occasion. Here's Mawson, who for mine is one of the better players on the ground. His kick towards the advantage of Heaney. Spills the mark. Pack forms. Ball up.
Well, can North Ballarat hold up for another, 7 or 8 minutes? Wes, I suppose that's the question. They've done a great job so far, but there's still a bit of work to be done.
I tell you what, they'd be pretty stoked if they can. Big leap from Luke. O'Brien tries to burst through. And we'll have another ball up. 55 metres out from North Ballarat's goal. Luke versus Mawson. He's a very versatile player, Mawson. O'Brien. That's Loader. Fletcher.
Well, the game's becoming more like rugby, Wes. It's like a real scrum in there, and North Ballarat just trying to force their way towards goal.
They are. There's a fair degree of inertia being provided by both sides. And here's a free kick that's going to go the way of the Roosters, and the recipient's Ned Nash. Better kick forward up the corridor. Doing well, and cleverly is Riley Walker. Defended well. Wrapped up in the tackle is Heaney. Going nowhere. We'll have a ball up on the point of the square. North Ballarat into attack, leading 15-9. Low-scoring encounter in our Ballarat Toyota match of the day. We've lost a couple of minutes with Simon McCartan coming from the ground, but we're ticking towards half-time, and at the moment it's the Roosters in the ascendancy by that one straight kick. Good work by Suda. Spills it out to the advantage of his team, although it's a hard footy to get hold of. Here's Manito. And once again, good long kick forward. Now, an opportunity for Kite, an exciting player. Swings onto the right, tries to curl it back, and it probably doesn't come back nearly as effectively as it has been on other occasions. Once again, the protection of the stand perhaps preventing that from happening.
And if anything, I reckon the wind's got up, Wes. And really important now that North Ballarat defenders, don't let the ball over the back. They've just got to kill it off. They've got to probably play back shoulder.
Tell you what, Adrian Manito, I like his approach. He gets the footy and he roosts it. And I think he just increases the opportunities of Melton actually scoring by getting it down there. But big leap from McIntyre, where he was second in line. McCallum had hands to the footy. Fisted away by Phillips. Kite, back in board. Manito goes one way, then the other, then runs into trouble. Gets his kick away just in the nick of time. Ned Nash runs onto it. Doubling back there was Hanley. He's quick, he's in there. Head down, so too Arts. O'Leary tackled. No clean possessions. Very tough, ferocious in the contest. And we'll have a ball up on the front of the square with Melton into attack, but trailing by 6 points. Mawson up against Luke. Taken by Scott. Now Arts. Opportunity for North Ballarat. Suda, been really good today. Offloads to Phillips. Another ball up.
It's almost like one side's playing footy and the other side's sort of playing rugby, just trying to burst through the stoppages and get the ball a little bit forward so it's harder for Melton to score.
And the lowness of the scores, you might be suspecting, as O'Brien kicks it forward, that it's a really heavy ground here at Mars Stadium, and it's not. It's absolutely fantastic condition. It's just the incredible impact that the wind's having. Free kick at half-back. It's going the way of Brock Kennedy. So Kennedy, a left footer. Low, penetrating kick. Spots up Manito beautifully. Now, what can Funky Cole do on this occasion? Offloads by hand. Now they're into attack, and the mark taken by Carter. Well, Ryan Carter is a genuine goal kicker, Hendo. What chance do you give him here in these conditions, and mindful of the impact the wind's having?
Well, Braden Kite was calling for it, and yeah, he's probably on, but I just think daylight today with the wind behind your back as a forward, go back and have the shot on goal. I give him every chance if he can just get it out to the right a bit.
Ryan Carter steps up now. The kick on goal. It's drifting away to the left. It's through for a minor score. It is the third behind of the quarter for Melton, and they move along to 1-4-10, but they trail North Ballarat 2-3-15. It's a 5-point game as we tick towards half-time. And unfortunately for Ned Nash, he's got the duties of retrieving the Sharon, as there's no one there at the western end of Mars Stadium.
No, they probably need a big net up on a day like today, Wes. But, you know, look, I just think North Ballarat boys now would be thinking, OK, 3 or 4 more minutes of this. And unfortunately for Melton, it looks like Mawson's limped off the ground. He's been terrific for them.
Yeah, he's been one of their best. Can the Roosters continue to hold as Melton has gone forward and kicked 3 behinds only with the wind in this second term? And that's a really good mark taken by Jamie Quick. Love to get an update on the condition of Simon McCartan. He's such a terrific player for North Ballarat. Love to see if he's going to make his way back. Equally so, we don't want to see Bailey Mawson missing too much action. Hopefully he's okay. Hopefully just a stinger, as they say in the elite game, Brett. That ball
absolutely
holds up in the wind, and good mark taken on this occasion.
Just looks like Melton are about to hit the scoreboard, Wes. They're getting, you know, some dangerous looks.
They are indeed. Good fist away by Scally. Bursting through is Leonard. Up and under. It's all Melton. Kennedy works it out wide. Cut off. Good work by the Roosters. By hand. Oh, dangerous footy. McCallum, one-handed handball, and he's been penalised. In fact, it wasn't McCallum. My apologies to the big fella. It was Ryan Hobbs, another big fella. Maybe just not the wisest of options offloading there on that occasion, although it was still looking for that run from behind that you've been talking about.
Yeah, look, it's the only way forward for North Ballarat, so I like how they've persevered with that.
Luke Heaney to put his side in front. He kicks long, and that one doesn't go with the wind. And it's missing to the right for the 4th behind of the quarter for Melton. They move along to 1-5-11, and they trail by 4 points. North Ballarat not having scored in the second quarter, 2-3-15, as we are approaching the 28-minute mark of the second quarter.
And, you know, a chance to take a bit of territory here from full back, so hopefully the North Ballarat full back, you know, he takes that, and they can get some stoppages and get to half-time for them. That's what they'd be after.
This is Nash. Sends it out wide. Good mark by the Roosters at right half-back. That's Tom Bromley-Lynch. Son of Dizzy. Kick towards centre wing. It was Melton lining up for it there on that occasion. Mark not taken. It was the one Rooster wedged between a couple of Bloods. And we'll have another ball up at Mars Stadium. Luke leaps high. Ball spills out. Suter, can he gather a clean possession? No, in fact, it was O'Leary once again. Opportunity for Melton now. Back in board. Take possession, that's Hickey. Kicked the only goal for the Bloods so far today. And a free kick's going to go the way of North Ballarat. Deep in defence.
They're just holding on till half-time, Wes. You know, the last 3 or 4 forward entries from Melton have been pretty quick in succession. So, once again, they'll be looking for the half-time bell.
Well, Ned Nash plays on and kicks long, but the wind captures it and sends it over the boundary line. And we'll have another short delay. All of the time on in our game today, normally time on is able to be attributed to goals being kicked, and of course today it's all about ball being retrieved after having gone over the boundary line, Brett.
Well, it has been, Wes. It's been a big day for the umpires. It's been stoppage after stoppage. They've done a great job, and you know, Ball out, bounce on the full or out of bounce time and time again as we speak.
Yes, once again, I suppose just hugging that boundary line a little bit too much there on that occasion. Melton, as they went forward, their ball's going to be thrown in right in front of the scoreboard that is just the 1 point behind, because it's actually North Ballarat 2-3-15 to 1-5-11 as we've ticked over the 30-minute mark. Can Melton capture a late goal and gain the ascendancy by a couple of points at the main break?
Well, I reckon if you're North Ballarat, you just be throwing numbers into this stoppage, Wes. Really thicken the soup up.
Well, there's no one forward of centre for North Ballarat, trying to burst through. Melton wrapped up in the tackle.
And conversely for Melton, you're pulling your players out and hoping that the North Ballarat defenders or North Ballarat opponent goes with you.
Just 25 metres out from Melton's goal. Luke goes at it. Manito goes to ground. No, in fact, that was O'Leary, and ball to be thrown up once again.
Yeah, it'd be pretty deflating for the North Ballarat now if Melton hit the scoreboard, so they've just got to see this through.
That's Carter doing the ruck work for Melton. And we'll have another stoppage. So is anyone doing the stats on stoppages and ball ups today? Because I dare say they'll be plentiful. They'll win the day.
Oh, absolutely. Oh, I couldn't even count how many we've had.
Hasn't been the open running sort of football that we've become familiar with. Snap on goal. This could be the advantage for Melton. Does it go the journey? Yes, it does! Melton in the shadows of half-time with a quick snap from the pack and a terrific goal has captured the lead. And that is for the first time today. And that was our man Suda, who I reckon has got plenty of the football today.
He's been terrific. He's probably almost the leading possession winner on the ground for Melton, and it was only really probably a bit of a matter of time. But now North Ballarat have got to start thinking about the positives of what they've done so far and see it through until half-time. For Melton, if they can get another one and go in 7 points up at half-time, they'd be pretty happy with that.
2-3-15, that is North Ballarat, but they trail Melton 2-5-17. It's a 2-point ball game with the Bloods at half-time leading by that 2-point margin. And it has been quick and riding with the first quarter goals for North Ballarat. For Melton, their first goal came from the boot of Hickey at the 9-minute mark of that first term, but then a goal right before half-time, thanks to Suda, the snap out of the pack has given them the advantage, 2-5-17 to 2-3-15. So, Brett Henderson, your assessment of the first half?
Well, it's just a stoppage game today, Wes. That's what's happening. The sides who are kicking against the bruise really sort of thickening up those stoppages. It's hard to say who's winning the game, really. It's just one of those really scrappy affairs. I think it's just going to come down to the side that wants to win it more, getting over the line today. Been some good players from both sides. You've mentioned Suda. I thought, he's been really, really good and solid for them. Manito, or Funky Cold as we call him, I thought he started to have a bit of an impact on the game. But
he's been the best kick of the game.
He has been the best kick of the game. He's used the ball really well. For North Ballarat, I've really liked the game of Jamie Quick. I thought he's been really, really solid and just brought other players into the game by his hands, but also just using the ball smartly. So, look, I think third quarter, Melton will want to, give handball runs from behind and really carry the ball and take grass if they've got it. For North Ballarat, let's play a little bit more central than we did in the first quarter.
That's Brett Henderson's comments for the McCafe halftime break here. It's the round 13 Ballarat Toyota match of the day in the McDonald's Ballarat Football Netball League. I'm Wes Cusworth. We are going to take a break from Mars Stadium, the game as it stands at the moment. And the umpires are just going to actually confirm the score. I suspect that they're going over to the scorers right now to make a correction, because my understanding is that it is in fact 2-5-17 Melton, North Ballarat 2-3-15. Yes, they're making the correction right now. Actually, they're going over to the control centre, the Brains Trust here at Mars Stadium. It is Melton 2-5-17 to North Ballarat 2-3-15 at half-time in our Ballarat Toyota match of the day.
As proud sponsors of the Ballarat Football Netball League, we love supporting local.
And love community sport, and we encourage everyone to get out there, support your local football and netball league, and of course, support local business.
Welcome back to Mars Stadium for the third quarter action in our Ballarat Toyota match of the day between North Ballarat and Melton. It's the Bloods 2-5-17, 2-point leaders over the Roosters 2-3-15. And it is not getting warmer here at Ballarat. It is going to test us all by the end of the day. It's McIntyre doing the ruck work up against McCallum. And it's the former with the tap down, although it's to the advantage of North Ballarat. They go forward with a tricky bouncing football. Here's Riding. He wants to get onto his left. He snaps around the body. Riding has missed to the left through for what would have been a very exciting start for the Roosters, but is just the one behind. 2-4-16, trailing by 1 point.
Look, there haven't been many centre clearances today, but that was textbook stuff from North Ballarat. Just ball on boot, get it down there quick, isolated forwards, gave them an opportunity to kick an early one.
Great distance with the kick.
Absolutely.
Always a testing time for the defenders with the ball bouncing awkwardly around like that. Bit of an up and under kick comes from Melton, and there's what's a collective noun for Roosters? But there was a whole heap of them. The mark's taken by Jamie Quick. Jamie Quick. Certainly a huddle of them at least. And Jamie Quick takes the mark, and he's quite deliberate with his head over the Sharon right now. He approaches the arc. Kicks long, good penetration with the kick, and a minor score. Scores level here at Mars Stadium.
Well, it's just that kick in, Wes. It was to a collection of Roosters, and you probably want to make sure you're not doing that, and particularly central with the kick in. And it looks like they're going to go out to that defensive side here.
That's precisely where Riley Walker goes once again. That's a good, long, penetrative kick, and standing tall, taking the mark. I suspect that might be Ryan Hobbs that's claimed the mark on this occasion. It is. He wants an option by hand, and he gets it across to Perks, who pumps it inside 50. Ryan Luke attempted to fly. That was Quick trying to get a kick. Had his kick smothered over the boundary line right in front of that scoreboard that says 2 minutes into the third term, it's dead set level at Mars Stadium, 2-5-17 apiece. Saw a really low-scoring encounter in the reserve grade game, and this is going to be another one. McIntyre, McCallum. Suter with a clearing kick, but only so far as O'Brien.
North Ballarat really upping the ante here. This is their fourth entry, and this is probably their third shot on goal in the first 2.5 minutes of the quarter. The Melton defensive line probably has not been under this sort of pressure all year, so it's going to be really interesting to see how they respond.
O'Brien, good distance with a kick, misses to the right. So they're getting their opportunities moving forward, but they're a little bit wasteful at the moment. 2-6-18, the Roosters, the Bloods 2-5-17. It's a bit of a whistle, and the umpire's just indicating that it's going to be a 50-metre penalty. So North Ballarat in the protected zone, and then called to play on. So how's the distance with that particular piece of movement by Riley Walker? That's Ned Nash. North Ballarat going to have to work hard to get it back. They do so, and the mark's taken at half forward by Ryan Luke.
Geez, a 50-metre penalty against the wind's like 100 metres, Wes.
Sure is. Oh, that's a really nice, precise kick by Luke. Spots up Max Scott. Scott, he wants the short option as well. The lead comes hard, and it's a good mark. Taken by Jamie Quick, and a 50-metre penalty. Well,
Quick's been, I think, North Ballarat's best player, in my opinion. But that kick then, too quick from Max Scott, just shifting him a little bit as he was leading, and it really put the Melton defender out of the contest. So a really important goal for North Ballarat.
it's a low-scoring encounter, but Quick's got 2, 3-6-24 North Ballarat, leading Melton 2-5-17 in the Ballarat Toyota match of the day for round 13.
Well, you're 4 and a bit minutes into the third quarter. It's probably, I don't know, maybe the first time that Melton have really been challenged like this into a third quarter. So, it's going to be interesting to see how they go.
Good to see Simon McCartan running around the left half-back region. Ball spills out to the advantage of Arts. Arts by hand. Troon Kick to half forward, running onto Whittier. Scott gathers, swings onto the left, scrubbing sort of kick forward, awkward bouncing football. Nice gather by Ryan. Luke tries to spill it out to Loverson. Loverson keeps it alive, gets it back to the advantage of Scott. Scott snap on goal, and they've got another one.
Well, hasn't Scott been lively? I think he's had 3 really important possessions in his first 5 minutes. And he's starting to turn the game, although I notice he's a little bit sore after that. But let's hope he's okay. But he's become a real dangerous, small, mid-sized forward for North Ballarat.
Well, in a half of football, North Ballarat kicked just 2 goals courtesy of quick and riding. And then in the space of just 2 minutes early in this third term, they have kicked a further 2, and now they lead 4-6-30, 13-point advantage over Melton. The undefeated ladder leading Bloods 2-5-17. Melton supporters need not be too alarmed. They know their side's going to be coming home with an absolute gale blowing here at Mars Stadium, albeit that there is a bit of rain expected in the latter stages of our game. And it's the Roosters going forward once again. They've been a bit more productive. They've tried to hurry it down there quite quickly, and they have done pretty well. Here's Troon riding. Snap around the body for the third in the third quarter. Misses to the right. Gee, they've had some scoring opportunities early doors.
Well, they're getting a spare into the forward half. You know, I'm just watching Quick then. He went from centre contest and he decided to run forward of the football. So that sort of shifted a Melton defender, and they're sort of getting a bit of an outnumber down there at the moment. So probably something that Melton mids want to keep an eye on.
The Roosters, 4-7-31, 14-point leaders over Melton, 2-5-17. The Bloods go wide, and the ball fisted away and over the boundary line to be thrown in. You wouldn't want to be a boundary umpire on that side of the ground today, would you?
No, you'd wanted to have spent a fair bit of time in the gym, as my lips go frozen, Wes.
I suspect that's where we've got 2 boundary umpires over that side, which is good to see. As Melton try to keep the ball alive and the ball over the boundary line for another throw in.
I don't want to be critical of McCallum there, but I think he needs to move in a little bit closer to these boundary throw-ins and tip the ball over the back instead of going forward. It just plays into Melton's hands.
And the likelihood is it's just going to be knocked over the boundary line once again. Here's McIntyre trying to burst through with Spears. Bloods take possession and going nowhere. And it's going to be Kyle Borg hand the footy back to the umpire. McIntyre to ground. Brock Leonard's there. Here we go. Opportunity for North Ballarat into attack once again. Top of the square stuff. The men fly. Oh, beautiful burst away by Quick, but he's run down, and that is a superb tackle by Riley Walker, the Melton fullback. Did a terrific job there, because I tell you what, Quick was away for his third.
He's been brilliant, Quick, and it looked like he was away then, but great tackle.
The Bloods go to the customary outer side of the ground and once again fisted over the boundary line. Menudo ran and just couldn't quite gather it. And we'll have another throw in.
I'm just watching North Ballarat got a spare behind the play, but I think he just needs to probably, separate a little bit, and he's doing that now.
McCallum edges McIntyre off the footy. Looked like a one-handed handball. That's the way the umpire adjudicated. And it's going to come all the way back. And it's going to be a Melton free kick. So Melton need to ensure, for their own benefit in the fourth quarter, kicking with the wind, that they're how far behind and no more.
Yeah, I don't think they'd want to be more than 5 goals behind, Wes.
Back in board. Hickey kicked the first quarter goal at the 9-minute mark of this Ballarat Toyota match of the day. And the ball off hands. The intended target there was Harrison Hanley. And he's the one that throws the Sharon back to the boundary umpire. Just forward of centre for Melton, just into attack. Neither ruckman able to get a hand on the football on this occasion. Running onto it was Lachlan Walker. Benito by hand. And the ball over the boundary line once again. So, grand final here at Mars Stadium for the 2022 season. I'm really looking forward to it. Should be fantastic. The surface is absolutely wonderful. Just hope that the wind isn't quite as pronounced as it is today. It's certainly playing a part. McCallum gives away the free kick. It's going the way of Big McIntyre, who offloads by hand.
Yeah, I think it becomes a different game, Wes. Grand final day, if the conditions are, a lot better than today. But I suppose if you were playing an unbeaten Melton and you were North Ballarat playing them in conditions like this, you'd have a bit of confidence.
Well, the boundary umpire's throwing the ball in there, and I feel that the field umpire is going to invite him to try it again because the wind just absolutely captured that. It's almost like the umpires have to allow for the breeze too. Yeah,
it's starting to get that way, Wes.
So here we go again. As Aura's actually not been all that involved in the ruck. Just have to keep an eye on what's going on there with him, because it's been McIntyre and Mawson at different times in the ruck for Melton. This is a free kick going the way of North Ballarat. So the Roosters, I want to come back into the corridor. Quick, the intended target. Mawson did well to get across. Oh, overrunning it there on that occasion was Carter. Kite. Now Walker. Set a bit of a task for Button. So North Ballarat win it back, although they hand it over straight away. There's a number of Roosters in the mix there. Leonard. Kick forward and over the boundary on the full. Right on defensive 50, and it's going to go the way of Melton Bloods defender Riley Walker, who has to retrieve his own footy.
Yeah, and really interesting, Melton sort of getting up around the football, particularly defensively. Whereas, you're often seeing 2 or 3 North Ballarat footballers just sitting off behind the players, Melton trying to go forward. So it's a bit of a gridlock for Melton at the moment, but once again, they'd be just hoping to, beat the clock a little bit and, stop some of the scoring.
Both sides ring changes. O'Leary and Ash Armstrong come on for Melton, and John O'Brien back into the action for North Ballarat. Clash of bodies, good mark.
This guy's played a great game, Suter, Wes.
Well, no one stands the mark, which means that Suter can run on. He kicks towards centre wing, and in prime position was Harry Loader, the ball fisted over the boundary line.
Probably haven't seen sort of Melton adopt the play that North Ballarat had in the second quarter, that run receive from behind, that handball, and try and take a bit of yardage that way. It's been more of a kicking quarter.
Right on centre wing. McIntyre, second in line, had it, but then fumbled. Players converge on the scene, and we'll have another stoppage.
And it looks like Brendan McCartney's decided to throw an extra up around the stoppage again. We've got a spare defender back for Melton.
Opportunity for the Roosters. McCartan offloads to Loader. Kick towards the front of the centre square. Here's Mawson. Oh, he tried to go back through traffic, and how does the umpire interpret it? He says, well, that was precisely what he did, and really tempting fate there was Brock Kennedy. It's a fairly forceful return of the football to his North Ballarat rival. That was ill-advised. And here is our man, Jamie Quick, who, for all intents and purposes, is emerging as one of the best players on the ground.
I'd have him as the 3 voting player at the moment, Wes.
Right goalpost?
Right goalpost.
He comes in. He's in the corridor, but he needs to kick truly, and he does kick truly. And Quick has got his 3rd goal of the game, his 2nd of the quarter, and stretches the margin out to 20 points.
And I don't want him running off the ground at this stage. I just want to keep him out there with the wind, give him a rest in the last quarter. I know you've got designated rotations, but I just reckon he's a guy that could give them that unassailable lead.
Yeah, that propensity for players to run off the ground as soon as they've kicked a goal. Oh, look, I know that at the elite level there's rationale for it, but I always like the idea of having your best players out there, but I will defer to the greater knowledge of Brendan McCartney.
Yes.
I will never argue with Macca. I reckon he knows his chops. Melton go forward, and now they're facing a 20-point deficit, which is a game-high lead in this Ballarat Toyota match of the day for round 13. So the Bloods have got a fair bit of work to do, but Brett Henderson reckons that as long as they're no more than 5 goals down at three-quarter time, they're a real chance.
Yeah, I just think they'd have that belief. They're unbeaten. But, you know, they're being asked a question at the moment.
They sure are. Roosters, opportunity, taken off the boot. Manito at ground level, continuing to throw himself at the contest. Back into traffic, there was Kite. And we'll return it to the umpire. So, almost on the point of the square. McCallum and McIntyre, which was the ruck duel that we saw consistently throughout the course of the earlier game at McPherson Park, where it was a monstrous win to Melton. There's O'Brien, caught over the shoulder on this occasion. The umpire says it's going to go the way of the North Ballarat Roosters.
I'd just love to see the North Ballarat forward, Brock Leonard, go and stand on the spare defender for Melton.
Jenkins sends his team forward. Oh, the big leap came on that occasion from Ryan Luke. Now the ball to ground. Can they get the handball out, or can they have a shot on goal? And they've kicked another one.
And why, Wes, was because he actually did that. He came across and engaged that spare defender and made it a 2v1. They had a spare at ground level, North Ballarat, and cash in.
Isaac Loverson kicks his first goal of the game, and that is North Ballarat's 6th. And now they move along to 6-7-43. They're 26-point leaders over Melton, 2-5-17. And it's been all one-way traffic in this third term with 4 unanswered goals. In fact, Melton haven't scored. They've got a lot of work to do, but they are undefeated after 11 games. They are a highly accomplished side, and I fully anticipate they're going to come back. They're going to come back hard.
Yeah, you would think so. They're going to rally at some stage.
McIntyre, front position, McCallum over the top, wins it down to O'Brien. He's wrapped in the tackle and taken to ground.
O'Brien's hardness around the contest can't be underestimated. I think he's making a bit of a difference in there, a bit of grunt work.
He's a strong player. McCallum fists it away, taken by Quick. He'll go back in for a second dibs, and there's a hold, and it's going to go the way of North Ballarat. Even the free kicks, not that I'm just suggesting that you know, anything untoward has been paid, and there's certainly been there, but they're just maybe first to the footy on for this term. North Ballarat go forward again. Good mark, sticky hands. Taken by Carter of the Liam variety. Kicks it out wide. So Melton would be hoping to pull 1 or 2 back and not concede any further. Oh, dangerous sort of stuff. They're going to turn it over on this occasion. Here's Luke. He gathers his feet, does really well. Snap on goal. Oh, almost an incredible leg break of a bounce there on that occasion. It is a minor score for North Ballarat. They move along to 6-8-44, 27-point leaders over Melton, 2-5-17.
Well, it looks like the Melton coaching panel have decided to put Liam Carter behind the ball just to try and stop this hemorrhaging at the moment and you know, keep this contained so they can have a real assault in the last quarter.
Walker, good penetrative kick, well outside 50. Fisted to ground by McCallum. Taken by Hobbs over the line. And we'll have a throw in.
I just like what McCallum did at the last centre bounce. He got himself in a position to influence the contest, and he just hit the ball as far as he possibly could out into space.
He'll go at it again against McIntyre. He gets the possession, handball. It was a quick one. It was cut off there by Lachlan Watkins. And he's wrapped in the tackle, and we'll have another ball up. 43 plays 17. North Ballarat, the home side here at Mars Stadium, in the ascendancy by 27 points. McCallum with a kick, reel up and under. Dangerous time for North Ballarat. There's Walker on the last line, shoots the handball out to Carter. And a quick kick forward. And Melton have it some 45 metres from defensive goal. Using the corridor on this occasion, McIntyre's the target. He certainly outsizes his opponent, but North Ballarat do pretty well to bring the ball to ground at least. A little chip kick, moving it forward now. This is Borg. Borg can run with the footy, takes a bounce. Oh, it almost didn't come back to him. Then he squares it up. That was a clever sort of kick. Worked it out to Kite, taken to ground. Umpire says we'll have a ball up. No prior opportunity.
That was really brave football from Melton, and I think it shows a little bit about their psyche. They're still prepared to, take the centre corridor kick, even under such enormous pressure on the scoreboard and with the conditions.
I think Borg would have liked to have kept running, but he realised when that first one almost didn't come back to him that it might have been time to give it off. There's Button taken to ground. Melton have it inside, attacking 50, some 40 metres out from their goal-scoring zone, with the goalposts in the background continuing to bounce around in this very, very strong wind that is prevailing at Mars Stadium. McCallum, front position, doing the ruck with there was Ryan Carter. Quick kick forward, but it's cut off by the North Ballarat Roosters, and the mark's taken by Loader. Loader out wide. Hobbs held up a little, but Hobbs will get it back now with a kick out wide, and it's cut off by Suter, who's been very good today. Kicked that goal right on half-time that gave his side the ascendancy. Here's Button. Up and under. Was partially smothered there on that occasion. That's why it didn't cover any great distance, and Suter drifts back and takes a good mark. Moves it on quickly by hand. Kennedy back into trouble. Eventually back out to Suter. Big leap on that occasion from Melton. Couldn't haul it in. Back into the corridor. North Ballarat with possession. McCartan puts himself in. Over around the footy. Taken by Heaney. He's wrapped in the tackle. Umpire says, bang! Had prior opportunity. Didn't use it.
Yeah, but Melton have got two living behind the football now. So I think North Ballarat need to engage at least one of them, because otherwise they're going to end up finding it hard to score despite having the advantage of the conditions.
Arts. And the umpire just directing Arts back over the mark. And asking the peripheral players to just get out of the way. McCallum. Oh, he sells a bit of a dummy. Then sends his side forward with a long penetrative kick by McCallum. It bounces, was a tuck. McCallum as he kicked it. It's a goal. What a goal by McCallum.
Well, he has actually been really influential, Wes, and it was just a great kick off the boot. And in these conditions, if the ball gets out over the back, you're in all sorts of trouble. You either need to have a goalkeeper or someone that's going to actually kill that ball off in the air. And I don't think Melton had either then.
Well, that was quite remarkable by Big McCallum. I think he was just really looking to gain yardage and just to send the footy forward. And fortuitous for him, it carried the pack. Bounced and bounced truly. 7-7-49 North Ballarat, leading the undefeated Melton 2-5-17. And there we have that 5-goal barrier that Brett Henderson spoke about. He said Melton could not afford to be any more than 5 goals down at three-quarter time, and that's what they are at the moment. They may have an opportunity to go forward right now. Doesn't surprise me at all that Brendan McCartney may have engineered something pretty special here today. Nice chain of handballs from Melton. Mawson, it was an awkward kick, but it was effective, and it finds Ryan Davis at left half forward. Can they pull one back? Short option is just falling short there of Kite. He tries to work his way back into a bit of space. He handballs to his own advantage. The umpire says he did not dispose adequately, and as a consequence, it's going to go the way of North Ballarat.
It may not have come up off for Kite then, but I just think he's the guy in the last quarter that could turn the game for Melton. So he's going to have to be watched really carefully. And he's given away 50 metres here, so that's going to hurt them a little bit, although I think North Ballarat were well and truly out through the corridor then.
The umpire brings Kite back to adjacent to the centre circle. 49 plays 17. North Ballarat in the ascendancy. Long kick forward, riding at the back of the pack. He's got Carter riding his shoulder, and the ball worked over the boundary line. 7-9-51 North Ballarat, 34-point leaders over Melton, 2-5-17. Melton not having scored in this third term at all. Here's Suter with a long kick, looking for, once again, some distance, but unfortunately just caught by the wind and carries over the boundary line. So North Ballarat's going to go straight back into attack from 50. The lead comes from Quick. Ball falls to the back of the pack. Taken by the Roosters. And the umpire calls for a ball up some 15 metres out from North Ballarat's goal.
Well, they don't want to leak another goal here, Wes. I think that would make it almost impossible.
McIntyre. No one gets to the footy on this occasion. And there's a throw, and it's going to go the way of the Bloods. Brock Kennedy.
Former Echuca boy, Wes. Nice left footer.
Breed some good footballers up that way, Brett.
Absolutely.
That is a really nice kick. Spotted his teammate, who was wedged between a couple of rivals. The ball spills free. Running away now is Lachlan Hickey. Swings onto the right. Awkward sort of kick. Does all right, though. Davis. Davis on the left. Puts it into the path of Button. Retreats with a quick kick and finds Davis once again. So just forward of centre wing. Ryan Davis hugs the boundary, looking for a bit of protection from the stand. Roosters do well. Here's McCartan. Back in board. And finds Quick, who's kicked 3 goals. 2 in the third term. Kick towards centre wing, commentary side of the ground. Sweeping handball from the Bloods. Suter, little kick forward for Watkins. Taken by North Ballarat. Long penetrative kick into attack. Menito, Mawson's there. Riding too for North Ballarat. Falls the way of Mawson. Taken by Riding, snatched away. He steams towards goal. He kicks on goal and he's kicked another one. The Roosters out to a 40-point advantage in the shadows of three-quarter time here at Mars Stadium. They go to 8-9, 57, and leading Melton without a score in this third term, 2-5-17. And this is quite a remarkable third term by North Ballarat.
Well, they were actually outnumbered then. It was a 3v2, Melton's way. And I think the Melton defenders sort of collapsed in on each other. The one North Ballarat player able to get it out to Ryder, who, as we know, is a great finisher, but that was absolutely top shelf first-class football from Ryder. So this is making it really difficult for Melton.
Loves a goal, Jack Riding. There's no question of that. Plays some pretty good cricket with Geelong in the Premier competition and some very good football. And here we go once again, North Ballarat going forward. They've really used the breeze effectively this third term. They'll have another kick now. It goes long towards goal, and Mawson drifts back with the flight of the football and fists it over the line as North Ballarat move along to 8-10-58. 41-point leaders. And this, I tell you what, will be the greatest test that Melton has experienced this season when we get to the fourth quarter.
And I want to see how they respond to this, Wes. I think it's going to be really interesting to watch.
It's breeze. I'm not sure that it's diminished at all. There's Menito. Kick towards a pack of players. One of them was Carter, but he was outnumbered by the Roosters. Ball at ground level. Trying to burst away was Loader. Dispossessed. Here's Melton. Fending. Now the kick forward. Heaney's there. The Roosters do well. Across centre wing, although taken by Melton. Taken to ground. And we'll have a ball up.
I just think McCallum has been huge the last 15 minutes, Wes. Really influencing stoppages.
He's been good. McIntyre wins this one. There's a free kick, and it's going to go the way of the Bloods. Can they pinch a late one? 28 and a half minutes have gone in this third term. It'll be a long one because there's been goals and there's been plenty of ball over the boundary line. Kennedy goes back to where the ball came from. Used Walker and he finds Menito, and then they retreat even further and find Suter. Suter, short option. That's Jordan Kite. We've got a man out here wide, Tom Button, but I'm not sure whether they either can't see him or they're not choosing to use him. He's out on the commentary wing and plenty of space. Kicks to a contest. Back in board by hand. Going to ground. That might have been O'Leary. Opportunity to go off the ground here for Melton. Choosing not to. There's O'Brien. Wrapped up in the tackle. Dispossessed. North Ballarat escape with the footy once again. And they go forward once again. Mark spilt there on that occasion. Ball falls to the back of the pack. There's Suter and Mawson mopping up. Well done, Mawson. Little kick forward and finds Menito. on defensive 50. Oh, Manito, that's not his best kick. Cut off on that occasion by Loader. He's taken the ground as he tries to get a kick away, and the pack forms and will have another ball up between centre wing and half forward. North Ballarat into attack and leading by 41 points.
Just an update, Adelaide, Collingwood 16 points up, Wes, with about 6 minutes to go.
Oh, that will make you a happy man. All you
Absolutely.
need now is for your horse to get up in the race in about 45 minutes' time. Kick forward by Melton. Good mark taken by Ryan Davis. Davis swings onto his left and the ball holds up. That even low kick there on that occasion. There's a number of Melton players in contention, but North Ballarat do very well and win themselves a free kick.
Just they've got a thirst for the contest. Scully then, he was enormous. It was a 2v1, used his bigger body, and then to have, Arts come in and help him, really great.
That's Arts. Sends it out wide. It's been very good by North Ballarat today. The big kick forward. Manito was about third in line, probably had the best chance. He'll take it now, and he's ripped off the football. Didn't quite take possession. There's Mawson. Shuffles it forward to the advantage of Walker. North Ballarat win it back. Good work by Harrison Hanley. And then the pack forms, and 55 metres out from the North Ballarat scoring zone, the umpire intervenes once again. 8-10, 58, plays 2-5, 17. McCallum fists it forward into dangerous territory for Melton. Oh, copping a high one was Suter, and Spears, his rival, helps him from the ground. He's a tough nut, Suter, isn't he?
Yeah, I love the way he's played. I think him and Mawson have been really good today with Manito down the back, but, they just need a little bit more help.
Mawson has his kick smothered. This is dangerous now. North Ballarat riding, takes possession. He's taken to ground. And the umpire says he'll take a turn with the Sharon.
Like, we can break a game up, and there's the old adage of D1, D2, D3, 3 phases of defence, and I just think the D2 aspect of North Ballarat closing down Melton and putting them under pressure when they got the balls being top shelf.
Bromley Lynch. Heaney, though, does well. Not a lot in front of him. Sends it out wide. Borg, he's got good pace. He gathers. Trying to corral him was Jenkins, but Borg does very well. Works his way back towards the corridor. Does it drift? It does. It gets over the top there on that occasion. Gets over the top of Hobbs. Little kick forward. And siren sounds and end what was a most impressive third quarter by North Ballarat Roosters. They have kicked 6 unanswered goals. In fact, Melton did not score in that third term. They are stuck on 2-5-17, their halftime score. North Ballarat, in contrast, have kicked 6 goals, 7. 8-10-58, North Ballarat leading Melton 2-5-17. And Brett Henderson, just a couple of quick comments, and then I'll let you get down if you choose that you want to get down there and hear what they've got to say.
Oh, I just thought McCallum was huge for them. I thought he gave them some real leadership. Quick's probably been the best player, but I think McCallum jumped on his coattails and really started to help out O'Brien around the contest. I spoke about the 3 boys down Melton defence. I think they've been really good in Mawson, Manito and Suter. But I think they need a couple of their stars to stand up now to have any chance. And I'm going to put that responsibility in Braden Kite's corner. I think he's a guy that could get Melton back if he can turn it on for 10 or 15 minutes. But big challenge now for Melton. I want to see how they respond because they've been unbeaten all year. Game is certainly on North Ballarat's terms, and I think they're in the box seat.
Jamie Quick's kicked 3 goals. Jack Riding has kicked 2, and singles to Max Scott, Cam McCallum and Isaac Loverson for Melton. Goals, solitary goals to Lachlan Hickey and also Blake Suter. At 3/4 time, it's the Roosters by 41 points.
As proud sponsors of the Ballarat Football Netball League, we love supporting local.
And love community sport, and we encourage everyone to get out there, support your local football and netball league, and of course, support local business.
Fourth quarter action about to get underway in the Ballarat Toyota match of the day for round 13. It's North Ballarat 8-10, 58, 41 point leaders over Melton 2-5-17. The umpire holds the ball aloft. A big test for the undefeated Melton Bloods as McCallum wins the tap down. And there's a hold and it's a free kick, and that's the ideal way for Melton to start. They know they need to move the ball quickly, they need to move it long, and they need to score at a regular rate if they're to give themselves any chance. Here's an opportunity. Ball loops over the top, taken by Kite, doubles back into a pack. He's wrapped up in the tackle, dispossessed of the football. Taken away by North Ballarat Roosters. The ball's going to hold up just inside the line, and the mark's taken by Isaac Loverson. Kick to third quarter goal, Loverson. Little chip kick forward. Dropped up. Oh, mark dropped by Mawson. Should have done better there on that occasion. There's Suter, probably the Melton's best player today, Suter. He's been very good. And the ball over the boundary line right in front of us in the commentary position. As we see McIntyre and McCallum set themselves once again. I know Brett Henderson's a massive rap for the efforts of McCallum today. Second in line on this occasion. Works it back to the back of the pack, taken by McCartan. Oh, clash of heads there on that occasion. That's Clay Jenkins copping one in the face. Melton go forward. Good mark, running the same direction of the footy as Max Tate. So we'll give Hendo the opportunity to catch his breath a little before he reports to us as to what was said in the Melton huddle. As the mark's taken by Jamie Quick. He's kicked 3 goals. Quick, he's been very impressive today. He uses the commentary side of the ground once again. Taken by McCallum, uncharacteristically doing a front and square. His kick forward. Oh, could have been a hold there. Surely a free kick to Jordan Kite. Yeah, that's the way the umpire saw it. And it's going to go the way of Melton, just the defensive side of centre wing. They can't waste time. I can see Suter gesticulating, saying, go long, use your kick. And he does on this occasion. Good carry. Ball to the back of the pack. It's all North Ballarat. That's Tate wrapped up. Eventually, the ball spills out and then they move forward. McIntyre, front position. Working his way through there was Walker, and then eventually it's going to be Nelson Troon who's held up in the tackle. What have you got for us, Brett?
Just about taking risks, taking the game on, using the ball well. That's the Melton side of things, but I think North Ballarat have started this really well this last quarter.
And once again, we'll have another stoppage. Gee, we've seen more football out here in the opening minutes of the fourth term than we have for most of the game.
Well, we haven't seen much over here, Wes, but this is a side that Melton wanted to attack through.
Understandably. Oh, the ball runs over the boundary line just in front of Suter. He would have liked to have seized possession there. As much as Melton don't want to lose today, at the same time, I don't know that the mounting pressure of an undefeated season does a lot of good for a lot of sides. I think sometimes an almost mid-season loss is not the worst disaster in the world.
Well, you learn a lot, Wes, and that's the thing. And if you don't have that learning opportunity, I don't know how you can get better. Opportunity
For McIntyre and Jamie Quick having a little bit of a push and shove off the footy. And now there's a little bit of continued push and shove as Riding enters the fray and has a few words to say to Ash Armstrong. And the ball fisted away and over the boundary line, and we'll have another throw in.
I've certainly got McCallum in my votes at the moment, Wes. I just think the longer this goes, the more he's influencing the contest.
What do they say about big men? They don't get smaller.
No, they don't.
So McIntyre, front position, palmed it down. Free kick. And this time it's going to go the way of John O'Brien. He wheels around to the right, kicks to the corridor. Oh, well cut off there on that occasion by the Bloods. He did well. Once again, coming to the commentary side of the ground, and the mark's taken by Heaney. Heaney, he works his way back towards centre field and then kicks long, and a good mark taken by Carter. Carter offloads by hand. Here's Davis. Davis's quick kick forward. North Ballarat have got plenty of numbers back. Spears, sends it to a teammate who kicks it out wide. I reckon he was looking for the refuge of the boundary line, but it's cut off by Heaney. Heaney was a little undecided what to do there on that occasion. Eventually, it's going to work out for them. Here's Watkins. He sends his side forward. The ball fisted away. Braden Kite at ground level. He's got some support. They need a quick snap on goal. Kick smothered. Good work by North Ballarat. Now snapping away. is Lachlan Walker. Won't go the necessary distance. And the mark is taken on the last line of defence by North Ballarat.
Looks like Collingwood have hung on by 5 points, Wes, after a 37-minute last quarter.
Keeps your finals aspirations alive, Brett.
Just.
So Melton will go back into attack. Scrubbing sort of kick forward. Cut off by McCallum. Knocked to ground. Taken by Spears. Offloads to a teammate. Quick's out there.
I just think Brendan McCartney, as you said, this is a bit of a masterclass of coaching at the moment. And, Melton are trying to unpick that, but they're just getting numbers back. They've got 3 or 4 around every contest, outnumbering Melton.
Well, he was pretty optimistic as we spoke to him before the game.
He was up and about.
At the canteen. And
Yes.
and Macca was pretty optimistic about his side's chances today. And it's working pretty well for them at the moment, not dismissing the fact that Melton can come and they can come in a hurry. Let's see how it all transpires across the course of the next 25 minutes or thereabouts. They're currently facing a 41-point deficit with neither side scoring in this 4th term so far. That was O'Leary trying to get a kick away then. Taken by the Roosters. Not a lot of players forward of the football. Borg. Cops a high one. So Borg, he just needs to bang it forward. He saw what happened earlier. The kick, that was a pretty good kick. The ball, obviously, when it goes to ground, it's really dangerous for either side. Pushed in the back. No, dispossessed without disposing. And there is an opportunity emerging for Melton. That was Ryan Hobbs, just a little bit slow to get his kick away there.
And good play from Borg. I think he's been lively sort of out in that wing. And this is the kick that could kick-start them, Wes. They need something. They need something to get them up and going. And this has got to go through, in my opinion, for them to have any chance of winning this game.
So Carter steps inside the arc. A real up and under and misses to the left. So not the ideal start. The margin back to 40 points. 2-6-18 Melton, but they trail North Ballarat 8-10-58. And they'd need to get something happening pretty quickly, you'd imagine.
Yeah, I think so. 7 minutes already off the clock. Probably 20 minutes to really hit the score. I mean, it's obviously doable, but just the way North Ballarat are defending at the moment, it's going to make it really, really hard.
And I suppose the way in which North Ballarat's approaching this game against Melton is certainly... There's a lot of lessons to be learnt for Melton, but there's also a lot of lessons to be learnt for the likes of East Point and Sebastopol and other sides that are genuinely in contention.
Yeah, absolutely.
North Ballarat doing well once again. Almost running into trouble with Sam Arts. Eventually dispossessed effectively. And then the kick smothered and over the boundary line to be thrown in between centre wing and half forward. Melton into attack, but facing a 40-point deficit.
And North Ballarat have got the ball exactly where they want it. That outer wing, let's bottle it up, make it really difficult for Melton to get it out of there.
Up and under from Melton. May not have travelled the necessary distance. Oh, yes, the umpire was quite satisfied with that as one of the better players in our game today, Jamie Quick, takes the mark. Defensive side of centre. He kicks it out wide. They'll just be happy to consume some time. Good mark by McCartan. He was second in line there, but just bodied Manito beautifully. Now McCartan moves it on by foot. Comes back towards the corridor. McIntyre sets himself. Oh, I thought he might have had the mark there. Umpire called the play on. Had 7/10 of it. Not enough. Here's Mawson. Free kick is going to go the way of Melton as it's deemed to be a throw. So now the Bloods go very long to the outer side of the ground. The target was Hickey. Ball fisted away.
Yeah, they've really got to go through the corridor. Everything's going to go through the corridor for them now because they've found themselves once again out in that wing area, far side, easy for North Ballarat to defend.
And just keep working it over the boundary line. McCallum palms it forward. McIntyre, Benito. McIntyre, the big fella, moves quite well there on that occasion. Back in board was Phillips. Kite of the Jordan variety. Now Manito. Kick smothered. Good defensive work by North Ballarat.
You've hit the nail on the head, Wes. I think their defensive work has been absolutely superb today. And no doubt a lot of what they're training is coming through into their game, and their defensive side of the game is some of the best I've seen.
As the boundary umpire will get another opportunity with that one. Once again, the wind catching it. I just sense that it'll give North Ballarat a lot of confidence, not only having knocked over, if they do knock over the undefeated Melton, but also just being able to win big games at this stadium, which is obviously their home turf. But this is where the big one's going to be, if they're going to be there.
Absolutely.
Trying to burst through was Loader. Oh, heavy tackle thrown into the ground. And now a bit of a skirmish develops over that one. That is never a good look. And I just think it was a vigorous tackle, but it was potentially just a little bit over-vigorous. And the big fella, just spotting that player, was it Bromley Lynch that's been hurt?
Yeah, it's Loverson.
Oh, yes, it is. It's Isaac Loverson. And
Wes, yeah.
it's a part of the game that I know that that the administrators are trying to get out, which those heavy slinging tackles into the ground. But hopefully the young fellow's all right.
Yeah, he looks in a little bit of bother, but he's getting to his feet now. And I don't think he'll take any further part in the game, Wes. So it is certainly something we need to be careful of when playing the game.
We know that at the elite level, they're heavily scrutinised, those sorts of tackles.
Yeah, and when you're tackling, sometimes you probably don't realise exactly what's going on. You think the player's got the football or he's about to get rid of the football, but it's certainly something that we are trying to get out of the game.
That's right. And at the same time, in defence of the player applying the tackle, sometimes it's just a vigorous tackle, and sometimes the player being tackled can be a little unbalanced.
Yeah.
And it can be made a little bit easier to actually topple them over. But it's, I think in NRL terms, they talk about the horizontal, don't they? So just need to be careful with that. But hopefully Loverson is okay. It's certainly going to be the way of North Ballarat, this free kick. 8 minutes gone with a 40-point margin separating the two sides. It looks like North Ballarat Roosters are going to provide one of the biggest upsets of the season. It was a really significant margin that North went down by against Melton at McPherson Park, but it looks like there might be something of a reversal of results if things continue in the current vein.
Yeah, and just watching Loverson come off, he looks like he might be okay. Maybe a bit of a rib injury, Wes, but nothing as far as concussion goes, I don't think.
And there's a high tackle. It's going to go the way of Melton. And that is Suda once again. He's been so impressive today. He's been a terrific player for Melton, probably their best. Bromley Lynch with a good mark at right half back. Moves it forward by foot. Held up in the breeze. Once again, just a pack of players continuing to follow the football around, and the ball to be thrown in on centre wing. 8:10:58 plays 2:6:18 in our Ballarat Toyota match of the day. We are approaching the 9-minute mark of our fourth and final term. And in fact, the 13-minute mark. So the scoreboard time clock has actually had a couple of pauses, I suspect. So there you go, 13 minutes gone. It's looking like it's quite inevitable right at the moment that Melton's going to experience their first defeat of the season.
Yeah, that's right, Wes. I can't see them getting out of this one.
They'd want to pull a couple of goals back and just show what they can do. They move it forward now. Carter with an opportunity. Ball goes to ground. North Ballarat do beautifully, sweeping it across the defensive zone, but running and taking a mark is that player in Kyle Borg. Now, Borg's got the breeze to his back here, and I would, if I were him, as I think he is going to, settle over the Sharon and have a shot on goal. Right behind post, Brett, or is that just exaggerating it a little bit too much?
The scoreboard, the old scoreboard, I reckon, Wes, he knows to aim at, really, with that wind blowing. So he's going to have to go really right here.
That is a beautiful kick off the boot from Borg. That is a cracking goal from Borg. That is precisely what Melton required. He read it beautifully. He measured that one and kicks the third Melton goal of the game, 3:6:24. North Ballarat 8-10-58, the margin back to 34 points.
Well, Brock Kennedy went over and hovered around, you know, wanting to get the kick. And Brock Kennedy's a good kick of the football. But Borg had confidence in his ability to put that one through. It just gives them a little bit of a chance, a little bit of a sniff. You know, no doubt North Ballarat would want to absorb another 3 or 4 minutes on the clock before they get another look at it, Melton.
So just a time correction there. As I mentioned earlier, the time on the scoreboard has clearly stopped. And so what we can tell you is on our screen, with 15 minutes having elapsed, and we have had some stoppages, I am aware of that, ball over the boundary line, and also that Isaac Loverson injury. North Ballarat lead it, however. Their three-quarter time score of 8-10-58 remains. They're 34-point leaders over Melton, 3-6-24 with Borg's goal. And we're back in the middle of Mars Stadium now for the resumption as McIntyre and McCallum, the Macs, will go at it. And it's palmed away by McCallum, although I believe that they were probably heading in the same direction with that one. There's Borg getting another kick, so he had the kicks either side of that goal, and that one just bounces over the boundary line between centre wing and half forward, and once again, it'll take a bit of time to retrieve the football here at Mars Stadium.
You know, 16 minutes in, whereas I would imagine there's still maybe even 15 to 20 minutes left. I don't know, but you know, it's just over that side of the ground again where North Ballarat can really absorb some time. Melton just need to really open up their stoppages. I think they need a couple of guys starting defensive side, just really rolling the dice and just flying through and hoping they can get in the end of some of the ruck work.
Big fellas go at it again. 20 players around the football.
So this isn't going to help them, you know. This is where they need to get these guys back, start 10 metres off the stop, just whiz through, fly through.
Palm to ground. Spears puts himself in. Number of players converge on the scene, bursting away with it. That's Borg once again, exciting player, loves to have a bit of a bounce, gets the handball out to the advantage of a teammate in Lachlan Hickey. Eventually they kick around the body towards the square. Carter's there, bouncing footy. Carter needs to get it, and it's eventually shuffled over the line for or behind. 33 points separate the two sides as Melton moves along to 3-7-25, trailing North Ballarat 8-10-58.
Well, North Ballarat just, you know, they allowed the ball to bubble out of what could have been a stoppage situation, and if they do that, Melton are going to get scores, you know, so they've got to be really careful about containing the ball in stoppage.
Spears has his kick smothered. Bromley Lynch fell short of the lunging button. North Ballarat using the commentary side of the ground. Player there was Tate. Mawson, he's got a bit of room in which to move, although Riding is closing quickly. Riding gets there just as Mawson gets his kick away. Does so effectively. Blood's over on the footy, held without the ball, and it's going to go the way of the man of the moment, Kyle Borg. He's been good in the last 4 or 5 minutes.
Well, he just needs a couple of others to jump on with him, you know. Look, they're having a bit of a go at North Ballarat just at the moment. Whether they can convert or not, that's going to be the story.
Oh, he's bouncing off the chest there of O'Brien. It's doing okay, though, for North Ballarat, though, with the kick that comes towards us in the commentary position. Around the body, here's Jordan Kite. Kicks towards Braden Kite. Gathers possession, tries to keep the footy in, and unfortunately for him, just runs out of tarmac. The boundary umpire intervenes and will throw it in front of the big stand here on the northern side of Mars Stadium. 8-10 plays 3-7. 33-point leaders, North Ballarat. McCallum. Curran was in there. Pack forms, and it's not coming out.
And that's the best outcome for North Ballarat, not the best outcome for Melton. Melton want to keep that ball alive. They want it to bubble around. North Ballarat want to just have repeat stoppages.
It's certainly been the way today. The umpires have had plenty of intervention. They've done a good job today. It's obviously a cracking contest. Our Ballarat Toyota match of the day, Manito. Well, he got a kick away, although it was straight into the back of another player. And over the boundary line once again with James Curran in possession. Lots of lessons to be learned about how to use and how to defend against the breeze. Big throw in. McCallum runs onto it. He's got a teammate there in Max Scott, who does best, the fleet-footed Scott. Now Tate. And there's Borg once again. He's had a really good fourth term. Borg on the left, kicks. Kite spills the mark he should have taken. Does well to gather. Now he'll kick long towards the square, and the wind catches it and takes it over the boundary line on the full to the left of the scoring zone, and not the required result for Melton.
Well, it's probably just on the wrong side for them, because North Ballarat will get it over the side that they want the ball on. Just a couple of little things where just haven't come off for Melton. They're getting a couple of looks at it, but look, I think, 20 minutes in, you need to kick 6-7 goals to win the game. It's going to be tough from here.
North Ballarat leading by 33 points. They have not scored in this fourth and final term. The margin was 41 points at three-quarter time. It was a stellar third term by North Ballarat that has been central to this success today. Looks like it's going their way. Pushing the back. That one's not going their way. It's going the way of Melton on this occasion. And they'll go back into attack. Fly there was from Hanley. Ball fisted away. Quick kick. Smothered. Just balloons up into the air. Taken by Quick. Loader. Now Leonard. No one forward of centre for North Ballarat. Just getting lots of numbers back. Mawson. Awkward bouncing footy. Trying to burst through is Jordan Kite. And once again, we'll have another stoppage at the front of the centre square with Melton into attack.
Well, I just like the hands and the link from North Ballarat in the back half, Wes.
Yeah, it's been a really determined effort by North Ballarat, springing this surprise as we've hit the 22nd minute mark of our fourth and final term. So it's going to be the Roosters to take the points today. Manito lays a tackle, and the umpire will come into play once again. Wind catches the ball as McIntyre rips it out of the ruck. Trying to burst through was Suda, and he's held up.
North Ballarat once again just throwing numbers around. Melton have got, player living behind the play, but good coaching from North Ballarat.
Trying to burst through was Spears, and going nowhere. And Suda's in there too. So 55 metres out from Melton's goal. Hurried kick from Watkins, sky high. Did it travel the necessary distance? Umpire said no, despite a good mark taken by Jamie Quick. Probably seen a few today that travelled only that far and were paid, but it's a very, very tricky day for everybody concerned.
Absolutely.
The Big Macs go at it once again. Suda lays a tackle, and multiple players pounce on the footy.
Look, it looks like Melton are going to have their first loss here, Wes, but I think there's going to be lots of good things come out of that for them.
They'll review the tape, and they'll learn a great deal from just the way in which North Ballarat approached it, particularly in that third term. They were actually just able to find some free-flowing football, weren't they?
Well, they were.
And yet another stoppage.
And there's a couple of things that they might need to address in hindsight. Have their training standards slipped? Have they got a little bit slack in a couple of areas? Have they got too confident? These are all things they can fix up.
Are they going through a two-thirds of the way through the season hard month of training, which a lot of AFL clubs apply, which is maybe explaining why Melbourne dropped off for a period of time there and now back playing some pretty good football. McCallum and McIntyre. Kick forward, comes from Leonard. Real floater, juggling mark. Good mark. taken by Ryan Luke. He wants to move it forward quickly. Runs on Spears, applies a Shepherd, and the mark's cut off by Manito. That's his game, Manito. That intercept mark floating across half-back. Kick forward. Good mark taken by Lachlan Phillips, drifting back with the flight of the football. Further forward, here's Carter. This is Ryan Carter. Over the top to Liam Carter. Now progressing by foot is Lachlan Walker. McIntyre. Tate. On full stretch, out wide. Taking it was Loader. Worked over the boundary line for a boundary throw in between centre wing and half forward with Melton into attack, but trailing by 33 points.
Just numbers back again, Wes. You know, they're just getting the numbers in behind the Melton forwards and making it really difficult when there's any chaos balls coming.
Back towards the corridor now. Oh, copping a high one, was it, Sam Arts? Just an errant shoulder, perhaps. Went to ground, threw his head back. Certainly looked as if he was contacted, but nothing untoward, says the umpire. McCallum. Leonard. Nice gather on this occasion. Good to see Lovison back out there. Curran goes sideways and finds McCartan. So McCartan can afford to take his time. Sets it up. Riding. Nice gather by Riding. One-handed mark. Thought Mawson might have been better positioned there on that occasion, but the ball just continued to drift away from Mawson, and Riding wants a short option, sends it out wide, and the mark's taken by Fletcher Loader. Hard up against the boundary. And I suspect that Fletcher Loader is going to be kicking into the eye of the wind right here, and this would be something of a miracle goal were he to successfully slot this one between the sticks. His side in the ascendancy by 33 points in the shadows of full time. It's not a bad kick. McIntyre gets across, fisted over the line. There is the first score of the fourth quarter for North Ballarat. They move along to 8-11-59. They are, in fact, 34-point leaders over Melton, 3-7-25 in our Ballarat Toyota match of the day for round 13. Short options on for Melton. Brock Kennedy.
Just numbers once again, just dropping back for North Ballarat. You know, they're big guys just getting behind the play. You know, they kick behind.
McIntyre marks, moves it on. Mawson. Hitting their marks with these couple of kicks. Oh, marks built there by Ryan Davis. Then he's beset upon by a number of North Ballarat players, including O'Brien.
I think O'Brien's been terrific around the contest. It may not be high possession from him, but it's what he does in and around the clearance with his body. He just throws himself around.
Just one goal in this fourth term. I've had a couple of stoppages with Lovison leaving the ground. And there's the man that I speak of. Lovison hands the footy back to the umpire as the ball's to be thrown in between the interchange gates. 11:59 plays 3-7-25 as we've ticked over the 28-minute mark of our fourth and final term. McIntyre front position against McCallum. There's Mawson. Gathers possession. Phillips. O'Brien for North Ballarat. Back towards the corridor. Over the top of heads. Here's Walker. He's battled hard all day, Walker. Last line of defence. Short kicks on. Melton. Entering the corridor, Kennedy. Comes out wide. Oh, McIntyre was the intended target. Lovison got in the way. Mawson's there. Lovison's back onto it. He evades a tackle, offloads by hand. Loader, back inboard. Troon. Over the shoulder.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that one, but just the way they flick the ball around by hand, North Ballarat, is really high quality. And they've been able to really do that well against the breeze. Melton just don't look like they've been able to get into more than second gear today, Wes. No doubt they will when the whips are cracking at the end of the year, but at the moment they're just struggling a bit.
Troon sends it long. Mawson happy to find the refuge of the boundary line. He's a bit proppy, Mawson, right at the moment. He's been one of the more presentable Melton players today, though, I suspect.
Well, even then, he just killed the ball off really well for them, really well set up defensively. Mawson has been throughout the day, and I've loved his game. I think he's been terrific for Melton.
Yeah, he's a trooper. Can swing into the ruck. He's a really effective swingman, Mawson. And once again, we'll have another stoppage. Gee, I wonder if the stats have been done on the number of stoppages today and the umpire interventions with the ball up. They've done a great job, the umpires, but just the nature of the way in which the game is being played in these windy conditions has meant that they've had plenty of opportunity to take possession of the Sharon. Over the shoulder, this one's going to go the way of the Bloods.
I think you summed it up well, Wes. It's been a difficult day for everyone. Umpires, players, commentators, cameramen, a lot.
I think Caleb Ludlow's probably been best off field today. Done a great job as cameraman. He's kept the scorers in check too. He knew what the score was when the goal umpires were coming to question. As the siren sounds to end our round 13 Ballarat Toyota McDonald's Ballarat Football Netball League match of the day. It's North Ballarat prevailing 8-11-59, 34-point winners over Melton 3-7-25. I might go through the breakdown across the course of the game as Brett Henderson gathers his thoughts and gives me some sort of reason as to why North Ballarat have prevailed over the previously undefeated Melton Bloods, and also looks at his better players from the respective teams. But I can tell you that it was North Ballarat leading by 8 points, kicking with the aid of a very strong breeze at quarter time. They led 2-3, 15 to 1-1-7. They went through the course of the second term without scoring, where by contrast Melton was able to add one goal, and at half-time it was the Bloods leading by 2 points, 2-5 to 2-3. Now, what was the big difference in the game, without stealing Brett's thunder, was a monstrous third quarter by North Ballarat where they kicked 6 unanswered goals, and Melton did struggle to score. In fact, they didn't score at all in that third term, and goals to Quick on multiple occasions. Scott Loverson, McCallum and Riding actually broke the game open, and by three-quarter time it was a 41-point advantage enjoyed by North Ballarat. They kicked just the one behind. In fact, it was not even a kick behind, it was a rush behind in that fourth term. It took them to 8-11-59, and Melton would kick the one goal courtesy of Borg, and ultimately it was a 34-point advantage the way of the home side here at Mars Stadium, North Ballarat prevailing over the previously undefeated Melton.
I think, Wes, it all just came down to that third quarter, really. It was an arm wrestle for the first half, got into the third quarter. I just thought North Ballarat used the ball a little bit better, but a couple of their forwards started to get lively. I thought Max Scott played just a brilliant 10 minutes in that third quarter, set up some scoring opportunities. I thought, Arts helped him out, but Jamie Quick, I thought, was clearly, in my opinion, the best player on the ground. And he got some help from McCallum. And McCallum started to influence the ruck contest, just hitting the ball forward, gaining territory. Defensively, I just thought North Ballarat were right in the face of the Melton players today. For Melton, I thought 2 or 3 of their guys down back were really good, but they just didn't seem to have the system moving forward that North Ballarat did, and their forwards really didn't get much of a look at it. And as a result of that, North Ballarat were able to get over the top of them, and they got numbers back, North Ballarat, which made it even harder for the Melton forwards. So lots of good things out of that game for North Ballarat, but I would think by losing and dropping their first game of the year, Melton will go back, review the game, look at the things they need to work on, and I'm sure that whoever they're playing over the next few weeks will probably see the full force of the Melton Footy Club.
Thanks so much, Brett Henderson. As part of our Carlton Draft post-game wrap, we do appreciate your assessment. As I mentioned, it was North Ballarat by 8 points at quarter time. It was the Bloods by 2 at half-time. North Ballarat broke the game open with a 6-goal-to-none third term. They led by 41 points at the last change, and North Ballarat prevailing by 34 points. 8-11-59 to Melton, 3-7-25. On behalf of the team of Brett Henderson providing special comments, and also Caleb Ludlow doing a great job on the camera and also managing the live stream. We hope you've enjoyed our Ballarat Toyota match of the day for the round 13 contest in the Ballarat McDonald's Ballarat Football Netball League. I'm Wes Cusworth on behalf of the team. Wishing you well. Hope you've enjoyed the coverage and we look forward to you joining us again next week.